Max, wow, you look super clear today. Super clear,
Yeah,
all up and close.
I have to make a confession. For the last few podcasts, I didn't have my camera, so I had to use my webcam. But now I have my camera back, so yeah, we're good.
I mean,
Now I look clear. I look very sexy.
Well, I wouldn't know about that, but you look vibrant. Was the word I was looking for. You look much more vibrant than I've seen in a long time. You look like you've gotten some sun. You looks like your girlfriend's getting you. He loves Austria. Looks I got coffee too. Shout out to RC Vitals. Yeah, your girlfriend's. Oh, my camera's like focusing and not focusing. Let me.
I think my girlfriend loves this podcast. Like, she's sitting next to me on the bed because we live at the studio apartment, and she has to listen to me. She has to listen to me being right for like 2 minutes every week or so. So I think she likes that. That was such a geeky sentence, you know.
Yeah, because with women, you're never right. So you have to be right somehow, and you can be right.
Yeah, it's crazy how you can be right, but still you lose the argument with women. Well, I'm surprised.
Well, this is your first venture into this life. Trust me, I've been.
Yeah, but it's weird when you're friends with them. It's all fair, you know. But as soon as you're in a relationship, it just flips. You're always wrong.
Well, we know where you'll be sleeping tonight. It won't be in the bed. It'll be on the floor. All right, Max. You know what? We're gonna drop that intro. I'm gonna fix my focus on my. And look at her. You give her that look like she's like, oh, I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. She gave that. It's the couch tonight look.
Yeah, if you had a couch, because you actually are in a small little studio apartment.
So we have a couch, but it's shit. It's tough as fuck, and it sucks. I've slept on it like once. Get used to it.
You'll be sleeping there tonight and for the weekend. All right. Well, you know what? Enough about your love life. Let's talk about RC. It's time to talk about RC. With that said, let's drop that intro. Let me find it, because I don't know. I do this all the time and I still can't find it.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this money-grabbing book racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right. You know?
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 bill. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 214 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keno White, aka Lefty the Great. Over there, jacked up on coffee like me, Maximus Mortimus, the arrogant one, in full arrogant form, by the way. Welcome, Max. Good to see you not on the couch yet, but I'm pretty sure that's your future.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, so we are back. This is going to be our last full podcast probably for a while, because traveling's coming up. But I know this sounds crazy, but I don't really know who our guest is going to be this week. So I did record with Micha Widmaier, which I was going to put out this week. But then I'm also recording with Mr. Clayton Young, who's running for Raw president. And he wants to come on, and he has. We started this last night, and it was not my janky internet. My janky internet was great. His internet wasn't too good, so we're reconvening. As of now, it's Thursday. Max and I are recording, and then hopefully we'll have Clayton Young on. I really want him on because he seems to have some great ideas for Raw. He wants to make some change. He has a lot of insight about Raw, and he's going for Raw president. So hopefully it's Clayton Young. If not, it's Micha Widmaier. Micha will probably be next week, just as a standalone podcast. And I'll actually see Micha at Florida Carpet Championship. We're going to talk about that. Max, let's do my intro, and then we'll get talking because we have to catch up on a few things. So first off, I want to say thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do this without you guys. The Facebook just went to 5,000 likes. We have 6,000 plus followers. That's awesome. Thank you for all of that. Our Instagram is almost at 1,000K. Remember, I did lose the Instagram and I got hacked. So almost 1K followers. Don't forget to check us out on TikTok, as well as our Discord, which is getting pretty exciting in the rumor mill there. Also, thank you to all the patrons of the NNRC. Sorry, guys, I don't think you're going to get early access to this week just because of the recording schedule. But I'm going to be at FCC. I come back from FCC, and I'm going to sit off and have a chat with you guys. I'm hearing some stuff, but we'll talk about that. But not too much stuff. I'm hearing a few things. Not silly season stuff, but maybe silly season stuff. So if you wish to become a patron or a YouTube member, you can. The links for that are in the written description of that podcast, and you guys really help me out. Invisible Speed, we're going to talk about that and the tour that's coming up. Thank you for all of that. People who have been asking about when the winners are going to be announced for the Invisible Speed, either Robert Battier-Mugen win or David Mayako win, I have no idea. TZO 200 Tires was talking to Nick, says he got a new tire coming out. He wants to show off. TNR Fuels announced their A-main fuel. That's a race I'd like to go. I'm going to hit up Chris now to see if I can get over there. Hitec RC, good to see. Power and Champions. Hitec getting really, really active. Max is going to be running for him, I think, shortly, if I remember correctly. Beach RC. Shout out to Brent and Lucas and all the guys there at Beach RC. Tekno RC. Tekno. That's all you heard in silly season this weekend, this last few weeks. So lots of Tekno talk going on. Lugs Racing Tire. Shout out to Bryce and Brad and everybody over there. Papa Willie's Tractiontronic. Hello, Scooter. How everything's all right. G-Spec RC Tuning. We have coupon codes for all of this. Shout out to my boy Geoff. Some Padal USA with Hefty. Got to get him back on her. Clinic RC. Saw they released some Mayako titanium goodies as well. He's got a whole bunch of stuff. Saw him building his HB tour drive. Shout out to Tony and Vicky. We'll be repping Clinic RC at FCC here shortly. I see the Racecraft USA guys on their way to Alabama Manufacturers Shootout. I don't know if Alabama's ready for them, but they have a good time there, guys, and do well. Shout out to House of RC. Congratulations to Connie Svensson. He's been upgraded to not upgraded, but he is now the large-scale offered vice, or like he's sharing a presidency with that in EFRA. We're going to talk more about that.
Yeah, he's like, they split it. Before it was both large-scale, Onroad and Off-Road was the same chairman, but now they split it. So Off-Road and Onroad has their own chairman. So Connie became the Off-Road side chairman in EFRA.
Excellent. I can't think of anybody better because Connie is really passionate about fifth scale. So congratulations to him. Shout out to RCGP, who dropped a great video with the bosses, with Brent, JQ, and Billy Tylaska. And of course, shout out to JTP RC, David Runnerfog, and DR Shapur Runnerfog. We're going to talk about him in a minute. He had his Facebook hacked. He's all out of sorts about that. Alex Hagberg, who's busy. He's over in Malaysia. And of course, Robert Battier, who I'll be hanging out with her very shortly in a few weeks. So thank you to all those awesome companies, guys. I know that took a long time for us to get through there, but you know what? Really appreciative of these companies that advertise with us. We do have our new sponsorship one paper ready to hand out to companies for 2023. So if you're a company looking to advertise here on the No Name RC podcast, hit me up and I'll get that, get our sponsorship tiers out to you so you can find something that you're comfortable with and, help us help you. So there we go. Thank you for all of that support. Remember, everybody, links in the written description of this podcast. There's affiliate links, coupon codes. If there isn't a coupon code, please just leave in the notes. I heard about this on the No Name RC podcast. Thank you for all of that. Shut up. We got some announcements, Max. So one of my biggest things has been I wanted to get Shwag. I'm not really too worried about making money off it, but I know people that want NNRC hats, decals, shirts, hoodies, all this type of stuff. So recently I partnered up with Jason Bukal of Ardent Imprints. Jason used to be a JQ driver. He's from Georgia. He's got his own printing. He does printing. He does embroidery, all this stuff at home. Great dude. Came out to RCGP, sold a bunch of stuff, gave me a bunch of stuff. You still have to get your hat from Pecco because I sent you a hat. And
yeah, I haven't seen Pecco in a while, but
right.
I hope I get one.
So Jason had a flash sale last week. We sold some NNRC gear. People are starting to rock it. I appreciate that. If you're rocking any NNRC gear, let me see it. Tag us. So Ardent will be taking care of all of our USA, Canada needs when it comes to Shwag. Also, if you need any personalized RC stuff, or if you're a real company, or if you're real full scale, like what you do in the real world needs printing, check out Ardent Imprints because he'll take care of you. So always the problem is I have a lot of things in USA for listeners in USA. I never have nothing for the UK, European guys. And I'm sure, sorry, I don't have much for the Australian or Asia guys. But at least I think we've come to something for the UK and European guys. So along with Ardent Imprints, I've teamed up with Sean Gregson Berryman, who I haven't met him personally, but I've gotten to know him over the years. He messaged me sometimes. He started a business called RC Haus, Haus. He does printing, all this type of stuff. He does a lot of stuff. He does it full time. Great dude there in the UK. So he hit me up and was like, man, I want to be able to, I can do this and we can carry your gear and all this type of stuff. So now I'm happy to say that we've teamed up with RC Haus, and now you can get, he's doing like his own, like he's doing NNRC basic stuff. And, he's doing his own thing. He already showed me he's got hats. He's got everything, hats, hoodies, all that stuff that you can, I think it's like you buy to order or whatever. And he will be taking care of shipping throughout UK and Europe. So that's good. How that works for me is now like patrons, I ask to get paid in product. I don't think these shirts are going to sell thousands. I mean, yeah, if you want to throw me a little bit now and then, I'm happy with that little bit of that money that I will get from that goes to my RC stuff. But really, it's more about people having the Shwag, having it out there. I want people rocking it. And we've never had it available for the European, UK crowd. So I'm happy to announce that if you're in Europe or UK, you can now pick this up from RC Haas. I'll have the link in the written description of this. And if you're in America or Canada, hit up my boy Ardent Imprints. He's working on his website now. Hit him up on as Jason Bacall on Facebook. Hit me up or hit him up on Instagram on the Ardent Imprints. I'm so happy to have this because making a whole bunch of shirts and then selling them is not as easy. Yes, I always want to have shirts at a track and be able to sell them there and whatever I have left over. But also, like, I want to give away stuff. So my patrons that come on, we have a giveaway for them. We have, I want to be able to do more giveaways throughout the year to the general public because I just want people to rock the gear. And Jason set me up. He's made me these nice high-tech hats, all the hats. He's made me some shirts for the Florida Carpet Championships. Like, you need a good collared shirt, all the stuff. So I'm happy to have this because, I've just been happy to get product. So, yeah, we got USA, we got Europe and UK covered. I'm happy about that. That's good. That's progress. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
All right.
Do we have stickers in Europe?
We will. He will have stickers.
Okay, that's good.
I just ordered a bunch of stickers too to take with me on these next couple of tours. Another shout outs. Shout out to Roach RC. Met him at Masters of Dirt, and he's like, you gotta check out my content. I did. So basically he narrates. He's like, I have to write such a big script. I see why. So he plays a video and then narrates over it. So he talks about his race. And then he had a really interesting one. He did a video talking about new brands on cars, and he talks in depth and goes into the history while the video is going on. I think it's really good. So shout out to Roach. I think that's Roach RC. That was his nickname. Interesting fact. I was like, well, he's a young black guy. I was like, how do you get a nickname like Roach? Like, my mind's thinking like maybe he smokes a lot of weed or something like that. I don't know. And it's funny. He goes, I'm actually from New York, and I used to work in the New York Zoo as like an apprentice, and I used to be cool with the Madagascar roaches. So that's how he got his nickname. Nice guy, runs a lot of 10 scale. Check out his video, man. Check out his channel, Roach RC. I think it's really good what he done. I actually got some ideas from his stuff. So Roach, if you see me copying you, it's all you, dude, because I like what you're doing.
I just opened his channel, and I can't realize why the hell I have never seen him. But yeah, definitely go subscribe to him. I think I've seen one of his videos. Yeah.
I talked to him for about 30 minutes one night, and I was just like, look, man, just make content. and be confident. Like, he goes, I see you do things in one take. I was like, yeah, but I accept my failures and my bumblings and all that stuff. All right, Max, we have a couple of birthdays real quick before I go on. Shout out to Marco Barufalo. His birthday is today. Madman Marco Barufalo. Shout out to him. Have a very happy Italian birthday. Lots of wine and lemon sia. Shout out to my good buddy Jay Snyder. It's his birthday. Ray Monday. I think this is the Ray Monday that you like. The Ray Monday from Australia. RayMunday. His birthday today. Yeah. Earlier this week, we had Bobby Moore's birthday, which was yesterday. David Carrasco, another good friend of mine. Mark Vine, top drag racer. Feliz cumpleaños to Aram Torres. Ari Yaiva. You know Ari. He used to be partners with Joe Q. His birthday. He went 40.
Yeah, he and Joseph co-founded JQ Products, which turned into JQ Racing, and so on.
Yeah, he messages me from time to time.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. He's one of those guys that no one knows, but he's really smart with setup and shit like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, happy birthday to him. And happy birthday to Feliz cumpleaños to Santos down in Texas. Happy birthday to everybody. If I missed you, I apologize. You know, I just try to show some people some love that I see on Facebook. So hope you guys like that. Max, enough about me for now. Let's talk about you. You say you have some winter plans. Let's chat to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so during sort of my summer, it was quite tough, to be honest. Like, my plan was to go to the Euros. My plan was to go to the Worlds and perhaps run quite a lot of events. Well, what ended up happening is I was sick for 2 weeks in May. Then in Spain, I got a little bit sick, and when I came back home, I got sick again. So that was in middle of June. And then in July, I had food poisoning for a week. Then I had COVID. Then I had my wisdom tooth that had to get removed. So that's why I had to skip Euros, because I just was sick all the time. So I was like, I'm not going to risk being sick, and we canceled flights and so on. And then for the Worlds, the appendicitis thing. So as I said, I think on some podcast, I had like 4 practice days before August, the whole summer, 4 practice days, and then 2 races. So it went quite bad in that sense. But since then, after the Worlds, I've been working quite hard on next year. Like, as soon as I got out of the hospital, I started working for next year. So for the Finnish viewers and the North European viewers, I've been organizing the Finnish National Championship, as well as some Finnish regional series for next year in 8-scale, nitro and electric. Also, the Finland will organize the Nordic Championships, most likely early to mid-August in Vaasa. The date is not yet locked in, but the plans are well on its way. So if you are from Northern Europe, it's free. If you're German, you can come. If you're Polish, you can come. It's free for everyone, even though it's called the Nordics. But especially if you are from Baltic countries, from Sweden, from Denmark, Norway, I hope all of those people come in. So that's probably the biggest thing I worked on. Then creating like updated rules, creating updated race format for the Finnish series to make it more interesting for people attending the races. And then for my own schedule, as some people who follow me on my personal stuff, my YouTube, my Facebook, I've been quite inactive on there due to the fact that I haven't really practiced or raced or done much recently. But I've built an indoor track now here where I live in Lappeenranta. My plans is for next summer to build an outdoor track here in Lappeenranta, as well as in Imatra, which is 30 kilometers away. So that's for next year. But for the winter, I'm working quite closely with Hobby Factory, which is the hobby shop I work with, and I'm looking to do more 10 scale as well as touring this winter.
Okay.
So next year I hope to gain a level, for myself by practicing all winter and focusing on racing, that I can actually have good results next year. I'll be attending obviously the electric Euros and Worlds, 1/8 electric Euros and Worlds, and obviously 1/8 Euros in Radovan. So yeah,
Sweet. You've been busy, and
I've been busy. Yeah,
you look a lot better. You're very vibrant. You look like you have some color to you now. Before you was looking very pale, very sickly. So that's a lot of things. Like wisdom tooths are hard, and like food, like heat exhaustion, food point. Like you just had a bad 2022 when it comes. I guess get all that stuff out of you when you're young, and then All right. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So
also about like my personal stuff, like the YouTube, I've been trying to find a way to make it more appealing for me to make the videos, because those like from the ground up videos take a fuck ton of time. Like the recording takes like maybe half an hour or something.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have to edit it so I get the things I want to get through, cut it down to like 10 to 15 minutes, and then put all the effects, pictures. So it's not like it takes like at least 20 to 40 hours to make one of those videos. So it's quite a lot of work that goes into it.
I have to edit some video from Masters of Art. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah,
I have some great interviews. I just haven't gotten to it. So that's good, man. And then there might be a chance you might go to India with this.
Yeah, so I'm still in talks with them. They invited me again. They've invited me almost every year, but I just could have made it. And this year I was like, okay, it's post-COVID. I wanna go there. Now that I have a decent chance of going there. So
yeah, this is like the Mumbai Tech Fest. I've been invited to this a few times. I think Kyle McBride and I think Robert Badier won.
Yeah, Robert
and Ryan
Majubi, those guys have been there before, but I have been invited, but I've just never ended up going. But this year, it's not yet locked in, but we have talked about it, and I think we can manage to do that. So I'd be interested in going there. I've never been to India before, and I also was in talks with the people there. I asked the organizer if I can hold like a presentation at the actual tech fest, because it's a big tech festival. So having a seminar for people outside of RC about what makes RC great, why I enjoy RC, things like that. And one thing too. As I've been the sort of Finnish national, I'm in the Finnish National Committee for 8-scale and electric and nitro off-road. I've been trying to work out the way to, find a way to get RC onto the national television. So that's in the planning stages still, but I think we might have a good shot, because I've gathered a team of people to help me film the races. So we might have a chance of getting 8-scale off-road, all the nationals, 4 nationals, and perhaps even the Nordics on national TV next year.
Excellent. You've been busy. You've been busy.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of shit, even though online it looks like I've been quiet. But in the behind the scenes, I've been doing a lot of stuff, and I think I'm close to. I also have been in talks with a few new sponsors and few new cooperations with Hobby Factory as well for my personal career. But yeah, I've been working on a lot of stuff, and I hope that before the new year I can sort of come out with some like good news for people. And also I haven't forgotten Mayako either. I've been working on designs. I've been especially working on the design for the e-buggy to make it better than the rest of the competition, sort of find the best way to make the e-buggy stand out like the nitro buggy does.
That's the future.
Yeah, right now my nitro buggy stands at 3,100 weight without no lightened parts, or like it has light and parts, but basically the strength of the car is the same, but the weight is 3,150. So that's one project I've been working on the whole year. Basically just reduced 300, 400 grams out of the car. Interesting things. And if someone's like, oh, I don't like a light car, then just add extra weight to the bottom of the chassis, lower the center of gravity. So things like that I've been working on behind the scenes, and I've been if you're a Mayako driver, be alert on the Discord. I might come up with some exciting things there.
Sweet. All right. That's good. Good to hear. So you've been busy with that type of stuff. No wonder your girlfriend's kind of not into RC right now, because you're doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Outside of that.
And it was crazy. Like before the Worlds, like she was with me at my parents' house. So like almost every night I stayed up until like 3 a.m. wrenching on stuff. Then at 9 a.m. went to the track, and then stayed at the track until like 8 p.m. So a few days she was definitely a bit pissed, but we got through.
I can understand why. Understand why. All right. I'm gonna go over what I'm up to. So as you guys know, next week, Tuesday, I fly out to Miami, meet up with Danny Paz. We go up to Orlando to Beachline for Florida Copper Championships. Looking stacked, lots of European guys. I saw Mika Orlowski, the young German girl that runs SWORKz. No Martin Bayer.
Antonio Kowalski, something like that.
Yes. No Martin Bayer. No.
Martin Bayer was there.
No,
Martin Bayer was there.
Is he there?
Yeah. He was with Matos Penatin and Martin Bayer.
Okay, sorry, my mistake. Well,
but no Coelho.
Really fast.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so no Coelho. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I really want to see him come, though.
Yeah, but I'm not surprised. Like Coelho fucking during the summer he raced like every weekend. So I'll give him, a few weeks of holiday.
Okay, yeah. So we have Jamie Hall coming, so that's good. We get to see one of the Hall brothers. Antonio Kowalski, Micha Widmaier, Daniel Kovac, Trish Neal, Michael Orlowski, Max Gotzel, Matthias Benetton, and Martin Bayer. We're gonna have Mayfield, Cav, Fend, Brock, Horn, Rifkin, and Dustin there. So that's gonna be stacked.
Yeah. I think all Americans pretty much are gonna be there.
No Tessman.
Tessman's not? Okay. Well then
not yet. I'm surprised because he's in America. He was last weekend.
Yeah. I mean he was there last year, was he? I think he was.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Gonna be a great race. I'm getting super excited about it. Daniel and TJ have been busy building the track. They'll reveal the track Wednesday. So then it looks like, the South America tour is gonna happen. It's been stressful. But then I come home and I'm actually going to fly out a day earlier than Robert and JQ and leave on the 23rd. It's just a better flight. Stay with my boy Sergio in Peru. So be in Peru for that weekend. We fly out on the 30th to Sao Paulo, Brazil. We go to Hyundai. We do a clinic there and a race. We fly out of there on the 7th. Go to Santiago, Chile, where we have about 3 clinics to do. And we're going to go to 2 different tracks in Santiago. And we're out of there the 12th. That's it. I'm done for the year. Like I'm gonna enjoy Christmas. I think DNC is looking good. I've already had one company already commit to that. Thank you, Clinic RC. Appreciate that. They've already committed to giving me some budget towards that. So I just need to get a little bit more budget so I can go to DNC. And I want to get back to doing some of my RC stuff. I started my boat. I'm going to do that when I get back and enjoy Christmas and all that good stuff and get ready for 2023. But to say where I'm going to travel next year, I have no idea. But I say where I would like to go. I would like to go, if I do travel, DNC. I'd like to go to the e-buggy worlds and I'd like to go to the 10 scale worlds, to be honest. If I have to pick 3 races, there's the 3 races I'd like to go to. And obviously, if RCGP happens, I'd like to go to that as well.
Yeah. E-buggy worlds are going to be interesting, I think, because first time it happens, I bet it's going to be a bit of a shit show. The format is not going to be, I mean, they still haven't picked a place and a date. It's going to be confirmed in December, though. It should be somewhere in Europe, so it's F for block. But I hope it goes well. But I'm a bit
I heard Barcelos, but I think what's going to happen when I think what we're going to see now is a lot more e-buggy tech coming out after this.
Yeah.
Because now it's legitimate.
I think so too.
Now it's legitimate. All right, Max. You know what? Enough. I forgot. Impromptu, because we didn't write anything down. We were supposed to, but we forgot. So for 2023, we're looking to get somebody to join this motley crew of misfits. That's Max. Mostly you and I, and JQ doesn't really have too much input on this. When he's interested, he does. But basically, what we're looking for is an apprentice going in. Not an apprentice. Somebody that wants to learn what we're doing, wants to help out, wants to be cool, wants to be part of something that I think is cool in RC. And join our NNRC team here. Because basically, I've said this before, I'm looking for somebody a little bit younger. Not because I just think that a younger person is better. I just think they have more time. They're a little bit more... Or you just have to be really geeking out on this type of stuff. You have to be, and you have to be
like, the thing is, like, when you're old, you have your things you know you're good at. When you're young, you're still figuring out, you know. You might learn, you learn stuff faster too.
Well, this is as silly as this might sound, you will actually learn something here too. So, you know, by rights, we actually do produce a radio show every day, every week. So we're looking for somebody to join that team. You're going to work in the producing side of things, in the background. You will be involved as well. So when we're doing shows like this, maybe not every recorded show, but definitely want to do more live shows. I need somebody there to help me out with that. I need somebody to help me out with social media content, just small things like when I need, like, make a banner, make a post, stuff like that, helping me get topics for the week, because it's getting to the point now where I can't see everything and I need some help. So that person has to be geeking out, nerding out on RC, you know, all forms. On-road, not too much, because I have people that geek out on that, but definitely 8 scale and 10 scale to an extent. They have a decent setup where they can do stuff like this if we need be. Or they have a good understand. I mean, any type of IT skills would be great. You know how to do websites, you know how to do that. Yeah. So what we're going to do is I think we're going to do a competition for this. So I want to do a competition where you're going to have to, like, make a short video, show me what you can do, why you want to be a part of the NNRC, what you like about it, what you think this will help you do, what you would like to see change in the NNRC, what you think you can do help change in the NNRC. Make a video about that, showcase us some of your work. And I think the best thing we can do is just hit us up on the NNRC Facebook page. I know some of you on the Instagram page will have to probably on the Instagram page, but we'll see that. Say, attention, apprentice competition, NNRC apprentice competition, and send us what you got. Like, show us your socials, show us how you operate on social media and how you do things and what you can do, or maybe some websites that you're working on, some photography that you've done, or your knowledge of RC. But basically, we're looking for somebody to join our team. I know I said this. I kind of want them in America, because then we'll be on the same time zone. But I also want help from people around the world. So it's no problem that I have somebody that maybe is in Australia that can give me ideas and stuff like that. We want to expand. We want to do better. I really want to do more live shows. So we're going to have a competition. Send us your videos, send us your socials, show us what you can do. Then we're going to narrow it down. And then I think Max and I will figure out who we're going to pick to be an apprentice for next year in 2023. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. All right, Max, we've rambled on for enough. I think it's time to go on to some RC news that is brought to you by Hitec, RC, and TNR. Here at the NNRC, where we are proud to be part of Hitec RCD. They are leading RC systems delivering the highest performance and reliability, supported by a dedicated customer service personnel. They have the HSBC 381TH servers, as well as their new DB778WPs, which are more designed for 10 scale purposes. Both are manufactured with their high technology industrial servo innovation that Hitec does, because remember, Hitec does a lot of industrial servo stuff. The RDX2 Pro charger, which I was using it yesterday to store some batteries before I go away. You can charge 2 batteries at a time. It provides a power outlet for your engine heating needs, and as well as a USB port to charge up anything or power anything via USB. Trust in Hitec, your server and charger headquarters. Visit hitecrcd.com/where-to-buy to find your nearest dealer. Thank you, Hitec, for your support. And RC news. So we have a few things to talk about right now as we're going on. The 10 scale Nitro Touring Car Awards are going on. And, okay, so you changed it up. I thought that Balestri took TQ with the Super Pole.
No, so basically Naoto and Balestri were tied for TQ in points, but Naoto with a better time got the straight TQ. And then Balestri, Gilles Grosskamp, and Dominic Greiner, I believe, were in the Super Bowl, which Balestri took. And he and Naoto are now the two finalists. And I believe it's tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow is going to be the finals, semifinals.
So he's just guaranteed a spot in the final then.
Yeah, so in on-road how it works is if you TQ, you guarantee a spot in the final, and then the second finalist comes through the Super Bowl. So Balestri and Naoto are now the two confirmed finalists, which is quite like after qualifying, it was top three were all Infinity drivers. So quite good performance for them. Last time, obviously, Naoto took the World Championships in 2018. So yeah, it's interesting to see what's going to be the race now. But I think Naoto has a good chance of taking it.
I will have to say this: Red RC's there. I have another guy, Tony Firth. He's from Australia. He's there doing his thing. RC Racer Chat, I believe his YouTube is, or his Facebook. Red RC's doing a bang job of coverage of it, I must admit. They don't have the live streaming, but they got the videos. They got great things explaining on the website afterwards, all that good stuff. So it's good to see something like that again.
Yeah, I think actually now, as sort of a side point, I think Red RC did a very professional coverage of RC. I think the issue was just that the funding for them, it's basically like, in terms of business, it's more profitable to do nothing and for people to pay you ads than you to go to races and try to get support and all that stuff. You work more, but you end up making the same profit, So that's probably why they stopped doing this. But I think they have the skill and knowledge of how to make good production. And I think, as soon as they do it, it's good. So I wish people inside the industry would support that side of it more instead of just paying for them to post your new titanium screws or whatever silly stuff it is.
I agree with you there, but great to see. I have enjoyed it. Hopefully it has been live streamed. Scotty's there, but I think I've just missed it because it's time. I'm like, at that time I'm kind of I think it's 11 hours ahead of me. So
basically, when you sleep, they drive, and when you are awake, they sleep.
Yeah, I'll watch the replays pretty much. So that's about it. But good luck to everybody over there. I know you want Nato to win. I think we're gonna go. It looks like if Balestri finds for speed and Grainer as well, we might have a great race on our hands.
Oh, definitely.
Big news this week: HB's two-wheel drive buggy finally dropped, like 6 years later.
Yeah, that's one of the most anticipated two-wheel drive buggy, because it was supposed to come out 2017, pretty much. That's when David ran the first prototype of the car. So 5 years ago, and now that it's come out, it's the most expensive two-wheel drive buggy ever created, probably, and people definitely have criticized it for it. I don't really have any big opinion about it, but I think 660 is a bit too steep for a two-wheel drive buggy. That's what I'm gonna say.
Did you see anything about the car that you noticed that design-wise? Because that's what you go for right off the bat.
Yeah, I tried to find pictures, but I couldn't see any pictures from inside the gearbox. I think that's the most interesting part of the car. I'll try to look for pictures so I can probably make a post on Facebook if I find something or under the NNRC. But generally, front end is well, I'm not gonna say AE copy because Torrance has his own arm design. I do like how he did the hubs and stuff, but generally the front end geometry, and I'm pretty sure the rear end geometry is quite close to AE. The gearbox obviously is their own design. It's made with two bulkheads instead of that typical typical plastic two-piece one. They made aluminum bulkheads with the gears inside, and I think that's probably the only interesting part of the car as of now. I will try to find pictures of it from the inside, but I couldn't find it from their website. Yeah, geometry-wise, nothing. It's like
okay.
It's I'm not gonna say a copy, but it's nothing innovative.
I'm pretty sure you've just pissed off all the HB fans.
Yeah, I know. But here, like the thing is that
not savage though. You were not
savage.
Yeah,
the thing is that I respect what HB has done more than a lot of the other brands have done with tool drive. You know, like a lot of the other brands just straight up, copy the AE design. I think like it's hard to say because like even the front shock tower looks the same as AE. But I think Torrance has good things that he does, like the arm design. I like it. It allows you to, especially if you're on the dirt, it keeps the arms better. I don't know how much the arms weigh, but you can tune the flex with the plates, which I like. And I like the way he I like the way he did the gold wing design as well. And the gearbox interested me because I think there's some cool things about that. But I'm 99% confident that it's not going to be any better than any other cars in the market because the two-wheel drive market is quite competitive. There really isn't anything too crazy about any car to make it so much better than the other. It's like you could put all the two-wheel drive cars next to each other and like virtually in the same boxes. And to talk about the price a bit more, people say, oh, it has so many aluminum bits. But in reality,
that's the cheapest part.
Yeah, like the thing is, the reason why they make it aluminum is because they don't want to invest money into this project. They want to make the parts or the production, like a small batch of production as cheap as possible. So investing into a mold for a rear hub is like what, 10K, probably 5 to 10K, 15K. Instead, what they've gone is they make a small batch of cars with aluminum hubs and they sell it for more money. So the profit margin stays the same. So effectively they make more money this way. But also they get less exposure because they attract the smaller part of the market.
Right. I get what you mean.
And also to add on it has a lot of aluminum parts argument. I have yet to hear a weight measurement of the car, but I'm very, very confident it's much heavier than the other cars in the market because front aluminum hubs, rear aluminum hubs, and that's especially unsprung weight, which generally you don't want. Then lots of the pieces don't seem to be lightened enough, at least from the looks of it, to match. Because you can make an aluminum part that has the same weight or less weight as the plastic part with having the same exact strength. You can do that, but you have to really like make it that way. And those parts definitely don't look like they've made that way. But I'm not going to say any definitive until I've heard how much it weighs. But my estimate is that it's quite a bit heavier than the other cars in the market. So I think, I have to look into the gearbox. I think Ronafalk said there was something interesting about the gearbox when I talked to him about the car like a year ago or something. But apart from that, I don't see anything in the car that's worth $660 or whatever the map price was.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I'm sure the one good thing about this is I think we'll see more people like Fuller's.
Jackson
definitely. Bronson too, because he ran a lot of 10 scale. So I think we're going to see probably those guys racing a lot more 10 scale. I don't know if we'll see Cole and Pavidis. Pavidis got one too.
Yeah, Pavidis and Cole are definitely going to race more 10 scale because next year is the World's year, it's in America. HB sort of shifted from being more European based to being now much more American. But pretty much all of their team is in America right now. So definitely the reason why they now come out with this car, or come out with this car rather, is because of the fact that the Worlds are in America and they have quite a strong team of young drivers. And the thing is, like, Pavidis is a guy who lives in California. Fuller's pretty much used to drive
a lot of
only
10 scale racing.
Yeah, Fuller's used to do more 10 scale than 8 scale. Cole is probably the only guy who's dominantly 8 scale guy in their team right now. And I wouldn't be even a little bit surprised of seeing Fuller making a main at the Worlds, most likely in both classes, because their full drive is really good.
Okay.
So yeah, I think they will do good, and I don't think the tool drive is going to be worse than the market. But
I know what you mean.
I don't think it's better than the market. You know.
I get what any time will tell. Yeah. All right, moving on. Excuse me. Moving on. Raw president voting. Like I said, Clayton Young and Larry David. My Hefty put up a comment. His Track Rats podcast. They put a comparison. Larry David's done 2 events since 2015 and 2 Raw events, I believe, since 2015, and Clayton Young has done 11. Hopefully, at the end of this, but our guest will be Clayton Young if we get it recorded. I'm hoping that we get it recorded with him. So if you want to change things in Raw, check them out at Raw Racing. The voting goes on to the end of the month, so it finishes 31st of November. Bartan wins Nitro. Killick takes E-Buggy at the Winter Cup in Padova. Some fast guys there. You had Barkan.
Yeah,
Bartan, Barufalo, Polito. Burak couldn't make it. He had to work.
Yeah, all fast Italians except for Ongaro, who doesn't go to Padova ever again. And Kilic brothers, Clancy, Volanka.
Clancy went. I forgot about
and
that.
Max Hesse. So Berkan actually TQ'd both classes. But he had no breaks for last 20 minutes or something in the Nitro main. He ended up finishing 3rd behind Barufalo and Berton. Berton obviously who took the win. And Berkan won the E-Buggy. So with Barufalo finishing 2nd. So yeah, that's Polito, I think was up there, but not really that competitive. Volanka finished 7th.
Oh, Volanka was there. So I haven't seen the results, all the results.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's probably our last big Euro race to Montpellier. There might be some small races here and there.
There will be the one race in Padova, like right before or right after New Year. They always have it. So there'll be one more race in Padova, then probably Montpellier is the next big race in Europe.
All right. Rivkin wins 4-wheel drive. Horn takes 2-wheel drive at the AE race. Team associated race at Trackside Raceway. This was stacked too, Cav. All them guys were there. You can see that the shift is on now. It's like, all right, 8 scales almost done. You got 1 race left. And there were 2 real races. Well, 1 race left. That's this weekend. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then, you can see the shift is good. Even myself, I'm shifting to 10 scale now. Like, I'm all wrapped up for 10 scale next year. But good job for Horn. Not great win for him. Rivkin's doing well, man. He's his last quarter of this year has been good in 10 scale.
Yeah, I think Rivkin just dropping the 8 scale. I think since Worlds he doesn't done any 8 scale.
Right.
So I think
this weekend, I think.
Yeah, he's probably going to AMS, but I think especially if you look at his social media, it's pretty much like practicing 10 scale, doing videos about 10 scale all the time. I think Rivkin is just in general a much better 10 scale driver. I think, I don't know, I really can't pinpoint anything in his driving style to explain it. I'd have to look into it more. But it's just something, I think it's just that he likes to be very precise and he likes a car that drives very sort of neutral in a way, but and I think he just can't do it with the 8 scale the way it is right now. Like the positive offset rear end and the pillow ball, I think it doesn't allow him to do that. I think Cavalier and Rivkin have a similar driving style where they drive car very neutrally. So I that's my guess, like educated guess, but I'd have to look into it more. But I mean, it would be silly not to expect Spencer to win another two-wheel drive title. In four-wheel drive, I don't think he's as good generally, but I think people like Orlowski, Champlin, Fend, Coelho are much more likely to be in front of Rivkin. But in two-wheel drive, I'd expect Rivkin to be good. Obviously Fend too, but I think Rivkin has a better chance in two-wheel drive.
I'm putting my money on Horn. I'm getting all in on Horn.
I think Worlds are a little bit of a too big race for Horn to win. Because it's like he can't make the thing about the Worlds, especially in 10 scale, is that there's so many good guys.
Well, then we're going to see the addition of guys like Runafalk, Ongaro, maybe Akanas.
Yeah.
As well, but that's not guaranteed that they're going to be fast. Let's just say that that's not guaranteed.
No, but I think Ongaro and Runafalk are guaranteed to be fast. I think there's no question.
I think you're slacking on Aiden, man. I watched him live. It's really good in 10 scale.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just I mean, I want to believe that he could do good, but I just haven't seen, I haven't seen him do, apart from the Roar Nats in 2019. I haven't seen. 2020. I don't know which year when he finished. 2021. Okay.
Not sure.
Apart from that, I haven't really seen him be oh, this guy's fast. I've been oh, he's doing good, but I've haven't had that moment of him being oh shit, he's fast. Right. Rivkin at 2015 Worlds or Rivkin at 2019 Worlds. That sort of, because Rivkin, when he's on it, winning those Roar Nationals at Thornhill, he fucking pretty much dominated those mates, So he has that oh shit, that guy's dominating. But I haven't seen that from Horn, and that's why I'm hesitant to pick him to win such a big race. I mean, I definitely could be wrong, I'm not that into 10 scale, so I hope he proves me wrong.
Paulson beats Orlowski in two-wheel drive. Orlowski wins four-wheel drive at the Euro Buggy Masters held at Paulson's home track. Have you talked to anybody that went to this race?
Yeah, I talked with. I haven't talked about personally with anyone, but I've read Jonas' race report and Mikhail's race report.
Okay, so she did beat him. She did beat him in two-wheel drive. But I heard there's I don't know. Maybe that's a patron-only pod right there. What I heard. So,
okay. I haven't heard too much drama, but I heard the track was really weird in terms of it was really tight.
Yeah,
pretty much and that's pretty much the style of track I know. Right. Jessica's normal home track is. This wasn't at her home track, but this was a race set up. No, it was. They rented a hall.
Right, but up there. They've raced her before.
I don't know specifics, but I heard the layout was quite odd, and that's why Mikhail struggled in two-wheel drive.
I heard he struggled, but I heard a few things about this race. Maybe I'll save this for Patreon only pod. I don't know, but congratulations to Jessica Paulson.
To be honest,
that's a good victory over Orlowski.
Yeah, Jessica is actually I'd say she's better in 10 scale than she is in 8 scale. I think her driving.
Well, she think.
Yeah, well, she has, and she has made the main at EOS. I think at least she made the main at EOS with the Kyosho two-wheel drive.
All right. Well, she'll probably run on an HB. Well, now with the HB coming out, she'll probably switch over to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if she has a deal still with Schumacher.
She does.
Or I don't know, but I think usually Schumacher deals end at September. At least when I ran for Schumacher, the deal was from September to September. So I don't know. I
don't think she's gonna be a Schumacher next year.
I don't know, but I think they sell Schumacher. And to be honest, if you race on carpet, I'd rather sell Schumacher than HB. If it was dirt, then the other way around, obviously. But yeah, Jessica is actually, especially on carpet 10 scale, she is very good. I think she's very smooth very gentle with the throttle, so she can
Very
use a lot of
robotic.
power. Yeah, she can use a lot of power from the engine, or from the motor rather, and still like control that with her finger. But in 8 scale, that often hurts her. That sort of, like, on high grip she does generally well, but then when it's low grip, she's too smooth to sort of break traction, and that's my sort of analysis of why she does well. And I don't think her winning, like, I'd obviously say Michael is much better than her in 10 scale, because Michael does this like that this is his jam, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But even though there might be some like little bit like drama in the track setup and layout and all that, I don't think you can really take much away from Jessica anyway, because she is really good at that scale.
Yeah, but this is when you're like a world champ. Well, like, he's not a world champ, but he isn't a world champ. But when you're like of the status Orlowski, like every race you go to, everybody's gonna be gunning for you. But all good. I'll see him next week. Congratulations to Jessica Paulson. It'd be interesting to see what she does 10 scale next year. All right, we're gonna take a quick ad break, because here at the NNRC we're all about that glory, and that glory is nitro. TNR Fuels is the hottest nitro fuel on the market, owned and operated by Chris Nelson and his family, made by racers for racers. Fuel is currently available throughout the USA, and I do believe he has international shipping set up. For more information to support the company, purchase some fuel, get it in your local hobby shop. Visit www.tnrfuels.com or contact Chris Nelson directly at chris@tnrfuels.com, or just hit him up on House of RC or Facebook. Thank you to TNR Fuels for all your help. You can find all the links for that in the written description of this podcast. All right, Max. Big moves this weekend at EFRA. Not surprised at this. So Javier Garcia has resigned as EFRA president. He says he's not going to run again. I think his term was up, and I had heard about this a while ago, to be honest.
Okay.
So I've heard about this way back in July, that this was going to happen. I didn't know why. I didn't really put too much effort to, but I heard that he was gonna resign. He desperately wanted to talk to me. And both of us kind of wanted to talk to each other at the Worlds, but never got around to it. But yeah, Javier is out, and now we have a new president. Her name is Jacqueline Abil. So apparently she is was the treasurer for EFRA. So she's now going to be the president. Carlos was, so this is how it is. So I did. So the one good thing about EFRA is they had the minutes up. I breezed through the minutes. There were a few people that contended this at first, and then they kind of dropped out. And then it came down to between her and Carlos Gomez, and she won like by a landslide. So that's our new EFRA president.
I think
you know anything about her?
I don't personally know anything about her. I've never seen her at a race, but generally the EFRA presidents aren't people who are that into the racing side of things, rather the managing of the federation. But she definitely, I bet she has a quite long history in RC. She's from Switzerland. But yeah, I personally don't know anything about her, but I think she'll be good. She'll definitely have a bit of a hard time, I bet, because of Carlos, people like that are much more vocal. They are,
I mean, you can look at the minutes. You can look at the minutes and see. Yeah. So I took some time to breeze through the minutes this morning. I didn't get through them all. Max, you had some issues with the 8 scale. Let's go with that real quick, because you went right to the 8 scale stuff. I didn't get that far. I was just reading from the beginning. What's some of the 8 scale stuff that really you're just not happy with?
Well, I think the issue with EFRA is, like, I read through the minutes, and like pretty much all of the rule amendments they did was change a number from like 2 to 4, or change a word from is to was, or like some nitty gritty shit. No real change.
Yeah.
And the funniest shit was that almost everything was almost everything was presented by Pineda or Carlos, and then amended by Carlos or Pineda. So pretty much it was those two guys going back and forth throughout the minutes. And then as soon as someone else proposed something, like, for example, Finland proposed that European Championships would go to a control tire. This would be, in my opinion, the best move EFRA could make for a few following reasons. First reason is most people who go to an European Championships fly in. So trying to, get tires for a race that's 1 week, and you need to basically take, like, if there's only one tire that work, you have to basically take like 10 to 15 sets of those tires. Mm-hmm. But you don't know what one tire works, because most of the time, if you go to the warm-up, the track is completely different than at the Euros. Okay, so basically you have to take 40 sets, 50 sets of tires to be sure that you have the right tire. And even then, you might not have the right tire. There's a chance you don't have it. And then you have to buy tires at the race. So there's 150 guys showing up to the race with 10 to 50 sets of tires. On top of that, the manufacturers bring their own tires. So hot race ships, like tens of boxes to the race. AKA ships some amount of tires to the race. So
it's a lot of cost. That's what you're basically saying.
It's a lot of cost. It's a lot of logistics. And even this year, top 5, top 6 was all hot race at the Euros. So, like, what's the point for the other brands to even show up? So instead of doing that, what we would do is like what you do in 10 scale, which is have a control tire. You'd allow everyone to have 2 sets each day or 1 set each day. How many, need to wear the track? People would show up to the race, buy the tires from there. And because it's such a big race, EFRA could buy the tires straight from the supplier. They could sell the tires at no profit. So it would be really, really cheap to the attenders. And in the end, we'd have races where, like, even at the World, like, people who were sponsored by other brands run like other brands. So, like, it's always silly when that happens. People, it's just extra,
drama.
Extra drama,
It is, though. But so that got rejected. I assume that got rejected.
That got rejected straight away.
Was it Carlos and Pineda that rejected it?
Well, those two pretty much like were the first ones to reject it, and then they had then that was like straight up rejected, and then the Finland pulled that. But then Finland suggested that a rule that, because there already exists a rule that if you have an EFRA GP, which is basically like Euros warm-up or any European race under, like, it's not the European Championships, but it's a race run under EFRA, like an EFRA GP. And in the rule book, it says you can do a spec tire for races like this, but there's not any, like, it says the organizer can choose to have a spec tire. And that rule they amended so that you can't have the same brand at multiple races within the same year, So that rule they put in, they voted for it, and that got turned down. So those are pretty,
what I thought was amazing. So
yeah,
the membership costs $1,000 for the year, I think it was.
Yeah,
to be able to say EFRA approved.
Yeah.
Wow. So like all these companies that want, I guess you have to get all that stuff approved anyway. But to be able to use that logo on your promotion, it has to be EFRA approved. It can't be anything. It was very, very. I was like, wow. So that costs, and this is where they're making money too. So
and the funniest shit is that EFRA has probably 150, 200K in the bank just sitting, just sitting doing nothing with it. And you can see this because it's all public information. It's in a Swedish bank account, at least last I checked. It's a Swedish bank account because EFRA was brought from Sweden, I believe, back in the day. So yeah, it is there. They have money. They just collect money from people and end up most of the time not doing much. I think we're gonna go more into this in our rant, because why Javier resigned has a lot to do with this.
Okay.
Well,
that's fine, but we just want to give people an example of what these type of decisions are being made at this annual general meeting.
Yeah. So basically, everything that passed was something nitty gritty. Everything that didn't pass was something that could have improved things, or at least changed things to a certain direction. But this is the issue I have. So the issue isn't that EFRA, like, my point isn't that EFRA sucks. My point is that, like, the point of EFRA is to be a federation to keep some sort of organizing, some sort of continuity and prestige for these races. But if EFRA doesn't get on with the times, what is the point of having this? Like, there is really no point of continuity if, like, right now at EOS there was 400 entries at EOS, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, and stadium track. There are 400 entries, and EFRA European Championships barely get 200, barely in 10 scale. So how come? Like, what is? Why is that? Why is EFRA suffering from? Like, at least thanks.
EOS has more classes. We're talking about two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. That's it.
No, but like, even if you look at those two classes, EOS like almost has doubled the amount. So why are these races so much more attractive? What makes them more attractive for the people? Why do they get less criticism than EFRA European Championships? Like, that's the real issue, and that's what EFRA should be solving, not that if the rules have typos. And the funniest shit is that it's like, well, I don't want to be too mean here, but it's the two Spanish guys writing the rules. So the English is broken as fuck most of the time on there. So, like, if you read the rules, there's like the wrong words used to describe something. There's endless issues in the rules. But what they're focusing on is if there should be is or are there, and that's the rules they're changing. But instead of the 8-scale body shell rules, which basically state that you can run a fucking Beetle body on an 8-scale car, you can still run a front and rear bumper with a Beetle body on an 8-scale car, and that's perfectly legal. There are no rules it actually says that if you run a body that covers the tires, they have to cover more than 50%. That rule still exists. You can go and read it. So they aren't focusing on shit like that. They are focusing on something nitty gritty that doesn't make any difference.
Is an R. That's what they're focusing on.
Yeah, that's like my biggest issue. Like, those things should be worked in like because it's okay. So now I've been just kind of ranting and getting.
Can we keep the rant down a little bit, because you've been getting on for about 10 minutes on this one?
Yeah, but I wanna sort of suggest something for EFRA for next year. So instead of having this general annual meeting where people fly into and then decide of which word we're gonna use in this part of the sentence, you should have committees that decide, like, let's say 10 people committee for 8-scale, and they meet like once a month through Teams, and there they vote within themselves about changes, and then that is then posted like every 6 months to some sort of online forum where a representative from each country says approves those changes. That's sort of how general government and shit works, because it's no point that you discuss the wording of something where people fly into there. It's a big meeting. What you should do is, when you go there, you discuss what are the big lines, big achievements we want to achieve, big changes we want to make within the federation, and is things working out? That's what you should be discussing at the EFRA annual general meeting, which is the EFRA AGM. All that nitty-gritty stuff should be handled beforehand. That nitty-gritty stuff should be sort of, yes, you can sort of, if there's something you didn't agree, with the online voting thing or whatever the system would be, then you can take that thing up at the AGM. But right now it's like looking through the minutes, there's like 15 like worth nothing changes to the rules, and then 1 or 2 worth something changes the rules, and both of those get rejected, you know. And that's what pisses me off, that when you should be discussing how we are gonna keep the sport as good as it is or even improve it, you focus on shit that doesn't really matter in the big picture. That's my point I'm trying to make. And I respect EFRA, and I think we need EFRA and AGM and stuff like that. But I think we are stuck with EFRA. We are stuck in a rut where we can't get anything done. We can't improve things.
But that goes into the rant. That goes into the rant that we're going to talk about. So we'll rant more about that in a bit.
Yeah.
Because that's part of what I want to talk about. Yeah. All right, Max. Great rant. You went all on the spiel there.
But I try to keep it sort of less ranty and more sort of
right. I know what you mean.
Explaining the situation. Yeah.
I know what you mean. But we have some questions to answer, dude. So we're going to go into our Beach RC bench racing Q&A questions. I think that's it for RC news. I ain't seeing much. It's silly season's very quiet right now. It's all about Tekno, Ryan Mayfield in Tekno, where Jared Tebow is Jared Tebow leaving Tekno. Tekno is in the news right now, really, really big. And silly season just been very slow start. I mean, it's almost middle of November now, still kind of quiet. So I can't report on stuff that I don't have news about. So we're going to go on to the Beach RC bench racing Q&A. We're going to answer you guys' questions that you posted up yesterday. So let's do that.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
And thank you to Beach RC for their continued support. We do have an affiliate link in the written description of this podcast. If you guys can use that, helps us out a lot. Also go to their Beach RC YouTube channel. Lucas is doing great work there, making some great videos. Give them a like, give them some views. And thank you to Brent for all that he's done and getting me to Masters of That. I really appreciate that. Max, so we have a few questions right off the bat. Gene Fortain, does e-buggy really pay the bills? Yes. No argument about that.
Yeah,
it's the most popular 8-scale class.
Yeah, to explain it in more depth, it's for people who are new to RC or just use it as a hobby on the weekend or whatever. For those people, tuning a Nitro engine, setting up your servos, EPAs, to me, I've seen so many people who have raced Nitro for like 10 years.
Still do the same mistakes.
Still do the mistake. They don't know how to fucking set their throttle to EPA, and then they wonder why their engine runs weird. And then, it's so much easier. It's so much simpler. And in the end, for a regular driver, e-buggy is still pretty much the same driver feel. So it's better to start out with, and it's still almost as fun to continue later on in your hobby. But in a racing aspect, Nitro is better, and that's why Nitro is the glory, and that's why
I agree.
Pays the bills.
But e-buggy is the gateway drug.
Exactly.
Well, Yao Mello, question about tires for Max. If you could only use 2 types of tire tread for racing on medium and high grip tracks, what would you choose? They don't have to be from the same brand. Racing on a budget.
If you are racing on a budget, and you race in Europe,
I think he races in Azores, maybe.
I don't know, but anyway, I'll give Europe, America, and
Europe. Well, I would say he's in Europe.
I'll give an example for Europe and America, and for like oil tracks in Asia and Australia.
No, just give it. He's in Europe. Give us an example for that, and we get it because that's what he wants to know.
Okay, for Europe, hot race Amazonia in medium compound. That's like, you probably are gonna be fastest with that tire, or at least that's top 5. If it's really, really dusty, then you might want to look at like impact style pin or something like that. But if it has a groove and it's not like the World's Race Black, run Amazonia. If you don't have a good hot race support, aka double down in long wear soft or long wear medium, depending on the temperature, that's probably pretty good for most regular drivers. Both of those tires last quite long, and they usually are quite fast, as you can see from the results. For America, my suggestions are J Concepts Reflex and TZO 402. The TZO 402, in my opinion, is the superior tire to Reflex in wear, and it is also more sort of budget friendly, that because of exactly that. Okay. For hard packed tracks, you should go to Blocker or Stalker. But basically, from J Concepts, depending on if you run on loamy tracks, like in West Coast or East Coast with high hard pack tracks, you pick sort of Reflex, Stalker, or Blocker from J Concepts, and from TZO you just go with the 402, and then you pick the compound by looking at the temperature. I think those two for America, those two for Europe are the best options right now out of the brands I'm aware of it.
Okay. Next question. Dom Tranquil, do you think RC and Netflix are ready for our own version of Drive to Survive? I think there's a couple of versions of our Drive to Survive. I mean, a lot of 5150, a lot of Corey Drakenberg stuff come Drive with Us is good. I kind of liked it when he wasn't focused on just one or two drivers back in the day. But if you want a series, I mean, we have one. People just don't realize it. It's called RCGP Driven.
Yeah,
we need to get it connected to Netflix somehow.
Yeah, I think the video production skill inside RC is ready for it, but I don't think RC as an industry is ready for it.
Is ready for it. No, I agree.
Because there is no way where if manufacturers can't get together at agreeing to go to RCGP, there is no way manufacturers can sort of agree to make RC look professional enough in other ways and then agree to fund a TV series from their pockets, as in like sponsoring it. And that's why Corey's videos ended up being just Proline ads in the end, because that's the only way he could make any money out of it. And it's not like no one's going to make a video for fun, you know, that lasts like 30 minutes or 20 minutes, like the Driven was in the Corey's Drive to, what the fuck was it called?
Come Drive with Us.
Come Drive with Us. That's like 40 minutes long. No one's going to do that for free. That's like hundreds of work hours, and no one's going to do that for free if they are like skilled enough to actually do it. You know, like I wouldn't do that for free, even though I love RC, but it's just too much work, and people will still shit on it and not give a shit enough. And the manufacturers won't pay you because they only look at their own piece of the pie. So yeah, RC industry is not ready for it, but RC has enough skill to make that happen.
Right. I think between those two documentary series, I think Driven's already there. It's already got it. It's got 4-part series. It's there. I would love to see that on Netflix, but something that Corey's done, because Corey's worked really good, like his editing and all that stuff. Yeah.
I mean, Corey is a professional at that, you know, like obviously Matt and those guys are too, but Corey, that's like, Corey did that as a, you know, someone paid him to do it and he did it, you know. It's like, whereas RCGP is like people who work for RCGP wanted to make this, and you know, it was more sort of a passion thing,
than money,
in my opinion.
Okay, well, we have it. We just got to get it out there, and we need somebody at Netflix to pick it up. That's the other thing. But I think this, like Driven and all that's supplemented and sponsored and done by. I don't know how all that works. But anyway, it'd be great. It'd be great. Joe Jenkins, what is something that will make the biggest change in feel for a 10 scale four-wheel drive buggy? I'm not talking about tires, but just things to experiment setup wise.
Well, there's a lot of things. I think roll centers are your sort of best tuning option in terms of feel, especially in the rear. Like racing all over the link, playing with the link length, that's going to give you, the most effect on how the car feels. Lower arm position as well. So those two probably are the most noticeable changes in how the car feels. Differentials aren't that of a big deal in 410 scale because we have way too much power anyway. So differentials, you can play with those, but you're not gonna find, you're not gonna find your what you're looking for there unless you are like way out of the range you should be in. Shocks, yeah, if you just put on like 2-hole 1.6, 1.7, which everyone runs, and you'll be fine. I'd say roll centers are always the best, option to tune when you want to change the feel of the car. That's like most drastic change. But you always have to remember that the car isn't just like one tuning option. The car is multiple tuning options, and you have to find they all have to be in like the right, it's kind of like tuning a guitar. Like if one string is out of tune, it's going to sound like shit. You have to have all the strings in tune, and that's how you should look at RC. It's an instrument you want to make work in a right way so you can play it and drive it around the track the right way.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Joe. I got to pit next to Joe at Masters of Dirt. He was right over there. He loves Red Bull.
Does he love Red Bull to drink or Red Bull the F1 team?
No, he likes Red Bull to drink.
It's interesting to me. I don't know if I've just been blind to it, but for like the last, I think since Drive to Survive came out, Americans have been much, much more interested in F1. Like now I open Facebook after an F1 race. There's like every other RC guy say like, Red Bull sucks, Ferrari sucks. Like typical shit.
It's done wonders for F1 in America.
Oh, 100%. And I think like it's funny because for 4 years, 2010, like 2008 to 2013, we didn't have a race in America at all. And now we have, next year we're going to have, I think 3 races in America, 1 in Mexico, 1 in Canada. So that's already quite a big chunk of races moving to that side of the world, which is really, really good for F1. And I think that's also one reason why NASCAR has struggled a lot with viewership, because people have switched, those motorsports fans that exist in America.
To F1. Yeah. I agree with you there. All right, next question. Shucks, we got talking about Formula 1. See how we get off on a tangent? He likes Red Bulls to drink.
Yeah.
Okay. He might like Red Bull. He might like Formula 1 too. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't get it.
But I'm like a diehard motorsport fan. Like motocross is probably the only one I don't focus on like in depth. I watch the races, but I don't like focus on in depth. But like MotoGP, F1, WRC, I like study the design of the cars and bikes.
Of course you do. Of course you do. All right. Sean Tiny Alcorn, why don't people believe RM to Tekno? Until he announces it, we don't know. All right, Benjamin James.
I think people don't believe it because like they don't believe Tebow is going.
Right.
You kind of have to believe both of those two things.
Well, this brings up an interesting conversation that was on the Discord when people were talking about, Tebow still makes podiums and all this type of stuff. Yeah, but Tebow, I said, what people have to understand is that even Tebow, he wants to win, and Tekno wants to win, and these guys want to win.
Thing. Yeah, and
it isn't sufficient for him to be second or third. I learned this. Yeah, that's why I think people don't understand. Well, me, I'm happy. Second, third, fourth, fifth. Oh yeah, I'm great.
Yeah.
First is just icing on the cake. These guys, they want to win. Like, it ain't about money. They want to win. They want to beat each other.
Yeah.
And that's why they're at the top of this level. So Tekno wants that win too. And people can say, well, he's done all this good stuff for Tekno. But he wants to win, and Tekno wants to win. And if it ain't happened, it's been 4 years now, and they did have some early success. Maybe he needs a change if he's going to change somewhere else, and maybe Tekno will get what they're like. We know what Tekno wants. They want a national championship, and they want a DNC world. All that stuff.
Yeah.
So they're going to the guy who they think they can. If Mayfield goes, they're going to the guy who they think gives them the best chance to do that. And then wherever Tebow goes, he's going to be rejuvenated because it's a whole new chassis that he can be on. And because together, I don't think they will work together. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
Well, but won't be good. All right.
And
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. For in my opinion, why I see this move as quite likely is because if you look at TLR, if you look at AE, if you look at Mugen, those are the top 3 brands right now in America. And Tekno has to compete with all of them. All of those 3 are the 4. Well, HB, okay, yeah. So those 5 brands are right now the brands that are America focused. Obviously Mayako is in the conversation, but there isn't an American top driver. It's a new brand in America. So those 5 are the brands that have to compete. HB finished on the podium this year. Cole Ogden has been there for a while. Mugen has won the last 2 national. The one before national championships, and now Fend won his national championship with TLR. Rivkin has gotten a few national championships with AE, and Tekno is the only one of those brands who I can't remember any big buggy win. Truggy wins.
Truggy and e-buggy wins they have.
Yeah, but for buggy,
listen, Trug is cool, e-bug is cool, but people want the big enchilada, which is nitro buggy. Let's just accept that, okay, everybody?
Yeah, and that's exactly Tekno are in a situation, if they want to compete with these other brands, brand-wise, they have to provide that they have to prove that they can get the results. And if it doesn't work out with Tebow and Mayfield's open, as much as I like Tebow, I don't think twice in that situation, Not
at the moment. Mayfield's number one in the best.
If
top 3 drivers in the world, in my opinion, right now.
Yeah.
So,
and to me, if Tekno was a brand whose priority was creating a cool brand image just by having cool guys in a team, then I would think Tebow would actually be the better guy. But if Tekno wants to create their brand around getting results, then obviously right now Mayfield is the logical choice. Even if they have to pay a little bit more. But the fact that they have a shot, at least a realistic shot at the national title, because let's be honest, Tebow can win the nationals. I don't doubt that. But right now, the odds are very much in Mayfield's favor. No one can really argue against
this is by no means saying that Tebow can't do well anymore. I still think he has a lot of more years left in him. But I think he needs to switch now. I think he.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah,
I think he's had frustrations, it sounds like, throughout his tenure as well. And people just have to understand, man, 5th and 6th, they're good for us, but at these guys' level and the competitive nature of these guys, they don't want to talk about 5th and 6th. They don't even want to talk about 2nd and 3rd. They want 1st. And when you start realizing that, it's just like this. At your real job, if you got measured on performance, you want to be 1st all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
second is the first loser. That's how it is. So. If you finish 2nd, you're the first loser. All
right, Benjamin James, who's just started a new job at A-Main Hobbies. As for my question, what can be done for anything to facilitate the growth of junior racing in America? Guys like Tebow, Mayfield, Cavalier, Rivkin, even Defend aren't getting any younger. Racers like Fuller's, Hackert, Rose, and others getting to the upper echelons of RC. We ought to be looking at more up-and-coming juniors that could be the future of faces and brands like AETLR, etc. in USA. So I'm going to say something about this right off the bat.
I have a 15-minute section where I'll keep a monologue of how to do this. But you go first.
It has to come. Look, so let's look at some of the guys in the name. Rivkin's still young, 22, 23, I think, at his ages. Dakota Fenn's still young, 25, I think he is. Right? Fuller's is the only young talent that I'm seeing come up and challenge them so far out of all these guys. Hackert, let's be honest, he did well at RCGP, but hasn't really, hasn't set the world on fire. Just saying.
Yeah. But I think we have to like separate 16 and 25. Like 20, when you are like 18 or 20, that's sort of the turning point where you're young, but you're already an adult athlete, you know, if you're a professional.
So let's look at somebody that should probably, that if you want to base and become a professional racer at this moment, there's one family I think you need to look at. Well, two. The Fullers did it as well. Y'all look at Little Bump. Mm-hmm. Little Bump goes to every race there is that he can go to. He doesn't matter if it's on the East Coast, the West Coast, what type of track it is, indoors, outdoors, is racing. Why? Because that's what it takes. I don't know what their deal is with HB, what they get, but they're definitely going out there and is doing well. He isn't winning Nitro Buggy. He's getting better, right? He's won like E-Truggy and stuff like that. So that's great. It's not one race that does it for you. Mm-hmm. What's Mayfield's still winning? Dakota Fenn's still winning. Rivkin's winning in 10 scale. Like, we're just talking about Tebow that we still think he can win. Cavallari is still doing well in 10 scale and he's getting there in 8 scale. These guys are still doing well. You got to beat them. Like, Fuller's got to go out there and beat them. Like, yes, he had a great 2021. He finished third. He had a couple of seconds. Next year, I want him to beat him. You know what I mean? That's what I want him to happen. I want him to beat him. And it's the only one that I see that can do this right now. Now, somebody would talk about like a Brandon Rose. Yes, Brandon Rose is good. Great. Had a very good year. But he still has to get to that level where I think, people can see him as a potential person for beating somebody. There's lots of young guys out there, but there's a lot. Like another fast youth I'm going to talk about. Frankie Contreras Jr. Very fast in California. Needs to get out. Should be at races like AMS. Needs to get out to these other races. He needs to get out. It's kind of reverse for him. He's very good in California, as he should, because there's a lot of great racing going there. But he now needs to come out of California and go to other races and do that. You know what I mean? Whereas I would suggest that for anybody. It's not just about one race. Like, so like here you have a young, talented kid, right? But he needs to get out to California. He needs to get out and go to all these other bigger races. Well, the same is on the East Coast when you just go to like race time races and do that type of stuff. You need to get out there and do well at DNC and do well here. And it's not one race. These are all steps. It took Mayfield and all these guys many race wins and all this stuff to get where they are and all this type of stuff. And you got to dethrone them. And nobody stepped up and dethroned them. Nobody yet. When you go to a race, you still think that these guys are still going to be fast. And they are. So all these guys we thought that would look. And then the problem is then when you put money into these young guys like this, let's take a Seth Van Dalen, let's take a Tyler Jones. Given the opportunity, okay, they're a little older, but given the opportunities to run at Tekno, let's be honest, have not set the world on fire on that pro career. Not saying that they can't, but it's a struggle unless you're a wonder kid. Rivkin, wonder kid, winning world championships at 15. I want to put the youth situation has to start on a club level. We have to. I would love to see a junior national, like a proper junior nationals. Yeah. Like if under, let's break this down into age groups where people can compete. Oh, I'm a under 13 junior national champion. I'm an under 17 junior national champion. And stuff like that.
You're a B kind of, but
yeah, let's have some stuff like that where these guys can go. That's why RCG. I don't want to jump on that horse, but that's why I liked RCGP. You had the pro class that you got invited to, and then you have the RC2 class, which like the best of everything. But basically, these young guys have to go out and beat these guys, and then they have to beat them more than once, and they have to beat them like at a race that nobody thought that it can't be at your home track where everything, and it's been like this. You got to get up and. If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man to be that, So, but we should be pushing youth and we should be doing that, but we should be pushing them on a club level and all this type of stuff to get there first. There's no definitive path to becoming a pro driver or nothing. But I tell you what, it takes more than one good result.
Obviously,
I think people are just delusional about the size of RC and how you can make money at this as well. They think that people out here making $1 million contracts and companies are selling hundreds of thousands of units per quarter, and it's completely opposite of that. You know what I mean? The racing side of RC is so small compared to the bashing side. We've been over this a long time ago, a lot of time.
Yeah.
But I feel like you have to, like, I want more spotlight on the youth. Yes, I definitely am about the youth. We need to garner them and keep them in it. But we need to make them, like, we need to have proper junior championships and stuff like that. And that takes a federation and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I think there are like very many levels to this. So first level is, how do we get kids into RC, like in general? The next level is how do we get those kids to take RC as a, instead of choosing, hey, I want to be hockey, I want to do hockey, or like I want to do football, and I like what Tom Brady or whatever, I like Sidney Crosby, whoever you like you have an idol. Instead of doing that, they need to pick like, hey, what if I take RC seriously and go practice every week? Like if I do football, I have football practice. Now I have RC practice. That's the second step. And then the third step is becoming good enough where you can think about, hey, do I now, like usually this happens at, 15 to 18. This is the age where you're good enough where you have the shot at doing pro or going pro if you make the right choices and if you make the right, advancements in your career. Obviously, there are outliers like Rivkin, Ongaro, guys who come up earlier than they should, but those are because they have huge amount of talent. But in football, in ice hockey, in sports like that, those sports, even the most talented ones get the not most talented ones get a shot trying. So the first step, how you do it is you have clubs, you organize, we call it like Junior Tuesday at one of clubs I've been part of for a long time. So you pay like what, €5, and if you have your own car, you can come there and practice, and there'll be people like giving tips and like, hey, how you should drive and stuff like that. Most of these are just like trying RC for the first time, or you can rent a car as well and come there. But that's the first step, getting people into RC. Connected to that is creating a professional image to RC. So creating an image where Mayfield and like Ongaro and Ronafog and these guys are actually like cool guys. It's cool to be an RC pro, and it's brought out to the mainstream, brought into Instagram and stuff. So that's the first level, creating a real interest for racing scene of RC, and then giving an easy way in for new kids to get excited about RC in general. The next step is to direct these new kids into the proper races. So, for example, having junior championships and stuff like that is good, but it doesn't really make that big of a difference because most people don't really care about it because RC is so small. There aren't really enough juniors to make it that competitive. So the next step is actually to direct these kids towards like actual race series and stuff that goes around their area, so they get used to like, hey, I'm going on a race trip and stuff like that. So they get that attitude in their mind. Other one is for them to pick the right classes. So a lot of these kids like just stick with their slash and have fun, but to direct them into, in my opinion, tool drive off-road is the best class to go into. And next best class, in my opinion, is 8-scale electric off-road. Those are, in my opinion, the best two classes to direct kids into. Then when you have that, you have to provide a good race series that is comfortable for people. It's not like you have to be there at 8 and leave at 11. Like no kid at the age of 10 or 12 can't do that without getting, pissy at their parents. So you have to provide an atmosphere at the races where it's not as demanding, and it's not like, you're all there all day, and like it's easier for the parents to take their kids there or even go there by themselves, with someone. And having race series where they have to travel a little bit so they get used to traveling to other races. Then when those kids have that, spike in their head, like, hey, I'm good enough where I could actually be like, state champion in America or national champion in Europe, or actually one day, maybe if I do really good, I can be a pro, So then they graduate into the third step. And this is where manufacturers come in. At this step, like the second step, it's mostly clubs and hobby shops who are, who should be in control of that second step. The first step is only clubs. Second step is like hobby shops and clubs. And the third step is manufacturers. So, for example, Frankie Contreras, or whatever his name is, who is a fast guy who made the DNC main this year. A guy like him, what he needs is not product. He doesn't need to have 3 cars a year, whatever his deal might be with TLR. What he needs is support. He needs a guy who knows about setup, who understands what kids like this need, a coach, one could say, who directs him into the right, lane. For if he chooses, hey, now I'm in the third step, I want to become pro, then he needs someone from a manufacturer to coach them into that. You could call them like TLR youth program, whatever, but you have a guy who's responsible that finding new talent and finding new pro drivers. Like it is an actual sport. You have scouts and shit like that to do that. And it doesn't have to be like you have to pay this guy to do it. It could be someone like, you could have like in every state, you have one of these guys. It could be someone who's really into RC and wants to help young talent. But they don't need the product. They need the support. They need the knowledge, and that's how you do it. And if you have a proper structure that works in a way like that, then we will naturally get youth that grow up to be pros. But there isn't a one simple, fix for, hey, we need to get new youth into RC, like just like on a regular basis. Right now, it's just up to chance. Like in Europe, we have had good luck with a lot of Italian youngsters, pretty much every country is quite a lot of young people coming up. But in America, it doesn't look as like promising. If you look at the European Championships in 10 scale,
that's a little biased, Max, because there's a lot. You see, because all those guys are racing stock. So
no, but like if you look at what I was saying, stock. No, but if you look at 10 scale European Championships in the tool drive main, there was like one guy who was over 20, 2 guys who were over 20. No, in America, like Mayfield, Tebow are closing in like 35 or something, and they are still winning these races.
Yes.
So that's my point. Like in Europe, there really isn't any fear.
There's
of
young guys
losing
winning.
numbers.
I get what you mean.
Exactly. But in America, these young guys finish 5th to 10th instead of being in the top 5.
Right.
There's Fuller is there, and there are a few fast young guys. But in Europe, it's like these old guys are having a tough time even making the main. Lil Martin didn't make the main at his pretty much home country's race, So I think the reason why that is because Europe, we have clubs. So they do that first and second step transition much better than in America, where it's just hobby shops and manufacturers trying to do things. So there really isn't that sort of community incentive to find new guys into the club. And I think that's the long way of explaining this, but I think that's what is needed to understand to actually get something done in this.
So we need to make it cool. We need to make it cool for them to stick around. We need to make them want to be RC car drivers. I don't think, but I want to go back to this question. How do we make them comfortable as the next echelon? Well, we got to see which one of them guys are going to be the next echelon. So here's so here's a reason why I talk. So last year we talked a lot about Mason Fuller. A lot of people didn't really get on that. I was on the Mason Fuller bandwagon last year. I like his family. I like his dad, his mom. Oh, they do a very good job.
Thanks to their dad having the right attitude.
Right.
And the thing is, right now, especially in America, but also in Europe, it falls a lot on the parents. If the parents know what they're doing, the kid will be most likely quite successful. But if the parents don't really that into RC or don't really understand it, then the kid has a much tougher time succeeding. But if there were clubs that had that side covered, the role of the parent is not that dominating.
Right. So these guys, in my opinion, and also like they just have to go beat these guys. Like we could talk all this stuff, but like you said, Mayfield's probably going to win this race. AMS is coming up. Mayfield and Fenn are the two favorites. Now I think Fuller can beat him. You know what I mean? I think he could beat him, and he can go on to do well. But I don't see. There's nobody else after that for me. You know what I mean? Like, so these young guys have to want it and have to go get it. Maybe, and it takes time. Like. You can't put all this pressure on these young guys. You're going to be like, I think one of the wrestling, you're going to be a champion one day. Like if a kid hears that all his life coming up, he's going to expect that, or it's going to be some unwanted pressure. But definitely one of the other steps would be like, let's treat the junior championship like it's it's a big deal. I think first.
Yeah, I think EFRA has definitely missed one of their best inventions ever, which is the Euro B. Because when I was a up and coming driver at the age of 11, my first race abroad was the Euro B in Lyon, and that was like my first taste of racing, like in an international race. It's an EFRA race, the European Championship, and most of the guys, they were young. They were like 20, under 20, and maybe you don't need to say, oh, you can only attend this race if you're this age, but I think advertising it towards that is really, really important. And I think EFRA has missed an opportunity where they haven't marketed the Euro B as well as they could have, and promoted it as, hey, this is the way for you to become a Euro. Like Barufalo won the Euro B. He's now one of the pro drivers. Ongaro finished TQ'd Euro B, and now he's one of the pros. Micha Widmaier, I remember seeing at Euro Bs many times. Like there are so many guys in Europe who first came up, like even Dale Ronefog, his first big win was Euro B 2009. Lee Martin, his first big win for in 8 scale was Euro B. Like so many guys used to go through that route. But I just don't really see that happening.
Yeah, they don't
right
have that
now
in America. So one thing,
but I think it's even gotten a bit worse in Europe. I think EFRA should put even more effort into making this a race worth. Yeah, making Euro be a race worth going for youngers. Young drivers. Because right now in Finland, all the young drivers just go to Euros.
I get what you mean. Yeah. Maybe not as prestigious as it used to be. So. One thing, I'm going to end this on this. I think one thing I noticed is when I talk to younger European racers, like in this journey, it's like, what's your goal? Like, especially in the UK, I was like I want to make an A final out of nationals. When I talk to racers, young racers in America, it's, I want to be a pro. So I think they've skipped all that other, the girl, it should be, I'm sure someone say, well, I want to make a final here, or they'll say, I want to make top 30 to qualify for the Worlds at the Nationals. But the girl should be like, hey, you want to make an A final at every A final. And then that's where you start thinking, I can be a pro. Let's be honest, like the RC industry has done a great job of selling the illusion that everybody can be a pro.
Yeah, and especially thanks to the sponsorship craze.
Yes.
Of like you getting sponsored, like, oh shit, this is my way to become a pro. Now I just need to do something. I don't know what I do, but I just
it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. Yeah. Like even being a part as a team manager, you feel like, oh yeah, this could happen. Like this next young guy can be the next big thing. It's very difficult because then you have to deal with a lot of when you deal with fathers too that think that maybe their son deserves more than this or he should be doing this. When you got to step back and really sit back and say, okay, yeah, he won this race, but now he has to go do it her, and he has to do it her. You know what I mean? You can step back and see that sometimes as a father you can. So I think like Mike Fuller has done a good job of that. He's always been humble. He's like, yeah, but we got to do well her, and we got to, and they're just grinding away. I was like, I know, like Fuller's going to win. I know Mason Fuller's going to win, and Caden's going to do well. But right now, Mason's going to do well, and that's another great example of somebody who grounded out. Him and his dad went to races, going to all these races, doing all this stuff, practicing,
and they always
breathing, shitting RC. That's what it takes. He's earned everything that he has right now, and I don't think he has enough because he just needs to get that win. He's got that win in e-buggy. He's got that win in e-buggy, but he needs to get that nitro buggy win. And I think they realize that. And for Mason, he's there, but it's that one win that is missing. And once that win comes, I think the floodgates are going to open for him, and he's just going to go on a tour. So I think he's at a point where that one race makes a difference, but not, he's been most of every race out there.
Yeah. So I think to sort of to put that point into one sentence, what you made there is you should put results first and the sponsorship after that. But for most people right now, it's sponsorship first, and then let's see if we can get results. It should be, I want to get results, and let's see where that gets me. That should be the attitude. And I think Fuller is amazingly well, follow that. They are, when I've talked to their dad personally, I have never gotten the sort of feeling that, they want to get sponsored, or they want this, or they want that. They want just to have fun and get results and see where that gets them. That was their attitude from the get-go.
Well, they know that they need to get the results to get better things. And it's not just one result, though. That's the thing about it. He's been consistently second or third. He's won. He's beat these guys. He's just for instance, Tyler Jones, he won PMB, hasn't won anything since then. It wasn't just one. He got one result that boosted him. I'm not picking on Tyler Jones. I'm just being honest. Yeah. I think he's still very talented. I think he'd do well. You know what I mean? But he got that one win at PNB, and lots of big expectations were piled on him. Mm-hmm. And even her, I piled a lot of expectations on him, and it just hasn't shaped out for him. But there's lots of, not saying that his RC journey's over, but it hasn't worked out for him since he left TLR. Let's be honest. It hasn't worked out how it's supposed to be.
I think what hurt him specifically is what I made. The third point I made was he got a good deal from Tekno. He got product and that, but I think he just lacked support. He probably doesn't know setup that well. I don't think there was a guy at Tekno at the time to really, really help, focus on him. So his full potential was never unlocked during his time at Tekno. I don't know if he's continuing it, if he's changing.
It sounds like he still is, to be honest. I was talking to him the other day. It sounds like at the moment he's still continuing with Tekno. So I hope that whatever he chooses to do, he lives up to his potential that I think that he has. So the thing about that, there's lots of stories like Tyler Jensen RC. We can think of guys like
Drew
Bobby
Muller.
Tillman, all these, Drew Muller, all these guys that had talent, were good on the cusp, and they aren't in RC anymore. So it's hard, man. And the companies are like, if I'm an owner and I've got Ryan Mayfield on there, oh yeah, you got to beat him, beat him. That's what you got to do. So these young guys got to go and beat these guys. It's simple as that. It's simple as that. But there should be some structure. You need to put some more. I am a big proponent of that. And we need proper junior national championships. Shouldn't be just a side thought at the national. It should be a big.
Yeah, I think the way Roar does stuff just takes away from the junior thing, because
I agree
that junior thing this year was just a proper joke. That should be properly thought out. That should be done well, and it should be more affordable than the actual Roar championships, because I think Roar could even lose money on that, but that's guaranteeing the future of RC by giving youth a chance to show themselves.
I would tell RCGP the same thing. They have a youth final, but have a proper youth.
But I think I think if we look at who's won RC2, that's kind of naturally already happening. Cameron Lime won in America. Pelle Kumse won in Manila. Then it was Valente and can't remember the name of the other Italian kid, but that was the first year. This year, no, it wasn't Trevisan, but it was some really young Italian kid that won 2019. Those were the winners in 2019. Everyone under 18. Then in 2022, we had Trent win the last round. Can't remember who won in Europe.
It was you mean the RC2?
Yeah.
It was they're not juniors. It was Kevin Brunson and
okay. So this year it didn't happen, but generally it's been the sort of up and comers who won. Kevin Brunson is pretty much the opposite of that. He's been in RC for probably like double my lifetime.
Longer than the guys that he's probably been in RC longer than these guys that I've won it previously have been alive. Yeah. All right. We got another great that we beat that question to a dead horse because and Max's camera has discharged because he doesn't have his power pack.
Yeah, I need to. I don't think they make one for this camera, which is.
Oh, JQ has one. Oh, you have a different camera. All right, so we're just gonna have Max's associated avatar.
It's not associated, it's just me. You can see the lines. So.
Yeah. All right. So you like this question. Let's try not to geek out on this too much because I know you want to, but we've gone pretty long with our questions here. We have 2 more. Actually, we have 3 more. Yeah, we have a couple. This is coming from my friend up in the Pacific Northwest, Chris Trudeau. Does RC Raw EFRA IFMAR have too many rules? Given the modern times of RC, should we go to a more basic set of rules, weight, height, width, tank size, etc., or are too many companies willing to bend the rules to do anything to win? Does fewer rules open up innovation or restrict it? What rule do you hate, Max?
I don't hate any rule in terms of like being an engineer, but I just hate the general style of how the rules are currently written. So, for example, the truggy body. If the rules were written properly, which is you just add like 2 sentences, 3 sentences, and a few measurements, like to the rules, that truggy body thing would have never happened. Obviously, I've given my opinion about it before, but most people don't like it to happen. But the rules made it possible for that to happen, and that could have been very, very easily prevented. The answer isn't as simple as we should have more rules or we should have less rules. The answer should be, or the answer I'm going to give, we should have rules that are definitive. Right now, like half of the rule book is, well, you can do this if you do this, or like it can be done this way, but then you can easily go around the rule because it's not definitive at all. If you're interested in how I think rules should be done, go take a look at the RCGP rulebook. I had some input in that, and I gave my opinion on how rules should be made on that. And so the RCGP technical rules, I think it's section 10 or section 9 on the rulebook, one of those. Go read those and see how I think rules should be made. Obviously, those aren't perfect. There's still a lot of stuff that could be an issue going forwards. But I think it's not hard to make rules that are definitive and they will still keep the integrity of the class alive. Right now, the rules are way too free in some areas and way too specific in some areas. They are not like, be it EFRA, be it ROAR, be it IFMAR, the rule books are very similar. But for example, truggy class in America does not have a width limit. You could effectively make a 4 meter wide truggy and just run it on the track for the main and no one could pass you. You know, that is not against the rules. So now ask yourself, how the fuck is that possible? You know, in EFRA, you could run a Beetle body on an 8-scale car, but the rules state that if you run a Beetle body in an 8-scale car, they have to cover over 50% of each tire. But now we have open wheels in the buggy we run now. So those rules, like, why the fuck does that exist? It exists because those rules were made in the 80s when RC was a completely different thing. And I like that the rules gives lots of room for innovation, but the rules should be defined in a way where they keep the integrity of the class alive, like truggy class, the body, instead of now running a 1/7 scale buggy. We should be running in the truggy, even though I think it's a silly class and it shouldn't exist in professional racing. I still think it ruins the integrity of the class that now we run bruggy bodies, or it's now the truggy body because we have the silent moment. The OG truggy body is dead. But those are very simple examples of how I think the rules are fucked, and the easy way to fix it is basically just write the rules in a definitive way. The body has to be fit inside a box this big, and you don't have to like measure the body at every check-in. But if someone makes a protest, then you can check it. That's how F1 works. That's how WRC works. Like Toyota ran an illegal wing for half a year in 2019, but because nobody noticed, it went through. Obviously, that's a bit silly, but like it's written in the rule book, so you can't deliberately go against the rules. But if you accidentally do it, it's forgiven. And I think that's the sort of way rules should be done. Like it should be definitive enough that if you have a minor, like if you have an actual like deliberate rule break, you can easily see it and you can just look at the rules. But it should be open enough to where you can interpret the rules a little bit different, and then you can sort of make your own design. The cars look different and so on. And it's lenient enough where if there is like one part is like let's say a body is 1 millimeter too high or something. Obviously in touring it's a bigger deal, but in off-road it doesn't really make a difference. Then you sort of let that slide. But width, height, wheelbase, stuff like that, tire dimensions, those should be definitive. If you go over, it's a DQ, But some rules should have a little bit more space, but the idea of the rule should be definitive, not giving you guidance of how to do it. Because when you give guidance, people can interpret it the way you want. I think that's the way we need to change the rules. And if you like the RCGP rules, in my opinion, are quite definitive already, but there are much more to do on that sector. And me now working as the Finnish 8-scale class, chairman, whatever you call my position in English, I'm gonna do that in Finland, and I will the more experience I have with making these rules, I will start to share it with EFRA. I will try to convince them to change the rules to a more definitive way, like it's made in F1, WRC, other motorsport classes, instead of staying in the 80s and having the rules like we have it now. That's it.
I have to unmute myself. Yeah. So I just want to say one thing to that. I was talking when I was at the Carl Busch Motorsports, and Danny Stockman goes, "We're race car drivers. They make rules, and we try to break them. They got a way of breaking
exactly.
them." And he goes,
"Exactly.
Yeah." And he goes, "We get as close as we can to break." And he was talking more about aerodynamics. How they have to put the templates and all that stuff on them. He goes, "We get as close as we can to the fine edge of those rules, and sometimes we got caught. Sometimes we don't. Yeah, sometimes."
Yeah, the thing is, it's different to find loopholes than to straight up cheat. If you if you put up a restrictor plate that is made out of cardboard, that's cheating, because you should use the NASCAR supplied restrictor plate. If people know about NASCAR history,
you're talking about for the carburetor. Well, when they had carburetors.
Yeah, right? Yeah. When they had like the restrictor plate in the last NASCAR, some teams put a cardboard restrictor plate, and they covered with aluminum foil, and then when they ran the engine, it heated up and went through the engine, so they didn't have a restrictor plate at all. Oh, that was, for example, one thing. That's straight up cheating. But then if you are like Red Bull or some brand with aerodynamics in F1, there wasn't a rule that the wings could bend in a certain direction. There was a rule that they couldn't bend in one direction, but the rule didn't exist of another direction. So Red Bull just made it bend in that direction that didn't have a rule, and then everyone else ended up copying it. And next year that was banned again. No way. So that's not cheating, but it's fighting against the rules. And I think that's something in RC that manufacturers, mostly because there isn't an actual professional series where there's actual money on the line, and most American races don't have actual rules at all. So that sort of thing doesn't exist in RC now.
It exists in the stock class.
It exists in the stock class,
in the motos and stuff.
And we're seeing it right now. because that's more competitive in that sense. Like the cars have to be like, it's more down to the car than the driver. And I think
you have to have a good motor too.
Yes, exactly. And I think for the future, our goal is obviously to make RC more professional. Something like RC GP becoming the F1 World Championship. Like that's obviously what we all want in the future. Maybe it's not going to be RC GP. Who knows how the world works? But like at that point where it's a professional championship, there's lots of public. You know, you get a lot of like publicity out of it. You get prestige out of it. At that point, people are gonna start to cheat, and let me put that again, people are start to interpret the rules again, like they did with the chuggy bruggy thing, you know. So at that point, we're gonna have issues because if the rules aren't ready for it, people can cheat or reinterpret the rules in any way they want, you know. So that's why the rules should be made first before we have that, you know, effect. Yeah. Because I know probably like 100 ways of going against the rules that currently exist, but there really isn't a rule that actually bans it.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. But yeah, it's funny because I was just thinking of NASCAR rules, like with aerodynamics, how much of a difference it makes.
Yeah.
And like, it's like, yeah, if we come to as close as we can, like, you know, he says, sometimes you just go over the edge by a millimeter and you gotta fix it. But, it's crazy. Like he was showing us like the different aerodynamics and stuff for the car, and how you knew you would love that stuff. All right, we have a couple more questions from our Discord. We have some colorful members in our Discord. Forklift certified Haas. Max, your thoughts on Young Gravy? I have no idea what he's talking about.
He's all right. He's funny. He's a rapper.
Okay, I have to go Google him.
I think he's I don't like think of this as a great musician, but I think he has some funny shit.
EKJ 24,000 wants to know, what's up, Corey? How you doing? Max, when you come into the United States again, and he asks, will the Mayako Truggy going to have the same characteristics as the Mayako Wagi, like adjustable diff heights and stuff?
Oh, yeah. Obviously, it's going to be pretty much the same car. At least the first Truggy is going to be pretty much the same car as the buggy, but just like stretch out to the buggy like every other brand. And then from there on, when we have the first edition of the buggy, we'll work into finding those ridiculous loopholes in the Truggy rules, and then trying to make the Truggy so good that it's not even point of run any other brand anymore. Tekno has done that pretty well.
That truck's really good.
Their truck is like 20 millimeters wider than AE truck. So
really?
2 centimeters. Yeah. It's like an inch wider than an AE truck. Tekno truck.
It is a very wide truck.
Yeah, and that's why it's probably really fucking good. So yeah. It's like, to me, it's a bit silly, the Truggy rules, but I mean, as long as Roar doesn't have any intention to fix it, we're gonna find a ways to go around them. And
well, they'll fix it when you guys do it.
Yeah, but we'll start out with a regular Truggy design and then work from there. But there's lots of ways to not break the rules, but make it favorable to us. So if you're a Roar official really listening to this, please fix the rules before we break your class. And my next race in America, I hope it's going to be DNC next year. But
nice.
Yeah, I hope it is, but I don't really have the money myself. So I don't really have I need to try to figure out a way to afford it. So if you're a sponsor and if you're a brand and you want to sponsor me going to DNC, you can contact.
There you go. Sponsor the Maximus. Yeah. We got our buddy All Bitter in there. What's up, Bitters? Truggy, is that even a thing? He's funny. And then Rick wants to know, as Mayako starts to have ready-to-ship kits available, chassis engraving still be available in the future, or is it a service that will eventually be discontinued? And JQ answered that and said it's available for members. So
yeah.
All right. Well, that's all our questions.
I think the current plan for it was about the e-buggy, right? The question.
No, it's talking about the kits that are going to be made available to general public.
Oh yeah, that will be happening pretty soon. I think a lot of countries already have their national or regional kits.
Right, those kits will not be able to be engraved in it. They're just like buying a regular kit.
Yes,
Okay.
Exactly. But if you want the engraving and stuff, you have to order it from China.
You know what,
you can
Max?
personalize it that way.
We haven't touched on this, but we'll touch on it in the rant, in our conclusion. But right now, I think that's it for the Beach RC Bench Racing Q&A. We want to thank everybody that sent in questions. We did go science mode on a lot of this. And I want to make it clear, the youth are the future, and we need young drivers with their fathers or mentors or mothers or adult supervision helping them out. I want to see the youth do well, but I think we need to make them want to be in her more than anything. And we shouldn't, and also I'm not saying we should just give them stuff. We should make it where they have to earn stuff, and maybe make these junior championships, maybe split it up into some age groups. I don't know if we have enough to do that, but I think it's kind of unfair to see like an 8-year-old going up against an 18-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think you just should have a sort of a Euro B.
Right. Just have a Euro
I think because like we don't have enough.
It's the problem is everybody goes to the Nats and nobody's going to go to the Euro B or the Nats B. That's the issue, because everybody let's be honest. People say they don't, but people go to these races to see the top guys drive. And if the top guys ain't driving, they're not going to go. But maybe this can be at one of these other races that maybe not all the top drivers aren't doing, and it could be.
Yeah, I think some big race organizer should, in America, should try this out next year. I think Race Time has the best opportunity to do this because they have the most races. So have a pro class, treat it like RCGP treats the RCGP class. Then you have open class, and then you have junior and 40 plus classes.
Okay.
So instead of having expert, sportsman, and 40 plus, have like 2 age classes and then have 1 open class. So I think that way you will end up making the same amount of money, but I think that will give much more to the people, because for the kids, some of them are not going to be able to compete in the open class because there's going to be like non-pro talented guys. In the 40 plus class, some of them are not going to be. And I love a Greg Degani versus Saxton fight. Like, I don't want that to go away. And in the junior class, you could have, I think you should be able to let people run 2 classes, so 40 plus and open and junior and open. And then you should be able to, like, pros should run just the pro class. And like the pro class should be capped, and you should have it's sort of invitational style, but you leave like half of the spots open. I like the way the what the race was, the live RC race. That what was it called? Visions. Yeah, do it in that sort of style, and then you can focus on your production on the pros, and do a great show. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be any more expensive, really. You're just going to have one guy with a camera, do interviews. You agree with the manufacturers that these guys have to come a day early for an interview, and shit like that. You hire one guy to do it, hire another guy to edit it, and you don't have to do live stream of the whole day. Most people don't really need to watch it. You just live stream the A mains of all classes, and then all the happening of the pro class. And I think that way you sort of get the best of both worlds. You get the same race happening you have now, but you get the benefits of having an RCGP style coverage. So yeah, I hope Race Time does this. And if Joey wants to do it, I should support it. But I think Race Time has the better opportunity because they have 5 races.
Okay. All right. Well, that's enough questions for today, Maxi. We're going to talk a little bit about Race Time and AMS in our conclusion because the track looks great. That said, we're going to thank everybody for their questions. Thank you to Beach RC for their continued support. Remember, everybody, we have an affiliate link that you can use. Helps us out a little bit. Helps give us a little slice here at the podcast. Use that. Or even if you just in the notes say, hey, I heard about you on the podcast or whatever. Max, with that said, we're going to go on to the Tekno RC main interview. Then we're going to come back for our rant/conclusion. All right?
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to our Tekno RC main interview.
Tekno RC. Tekno RC. Tekno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.teknorc.com for a complete catalog of their products. Tekno RC. Excellence in engineering. Hashtag Tekno Takeover.
Joining me this week in the virtual studio, I got the pleasure of driving 4 hours from Charlotte Airport to Myrtle Beach with him in Brent's big truck. Brent's truck was really big truck. But welcome, Micha Widmaier of Germany, who lives in Austria.
Hello.
SWORKz driver. How you doing, man?
Fine. I mean, I had some busy weeks with racing, and there are some more busy weeks coming up now, but I'm fine.
Yeah, because you went from Masters, then you went racing this weekend. Where was you this weekend?
This weekend I was in Germany, close to Stuttgart. It was an indoor carpet race, 110. I think it's one of the biggest races in Germany we have during the winter season.
Mm-hmm. So. Is this a permanent or like semi-permanent truck?
No.
Okay.
It's not a permanent truck. They just built it for the race. And then...
I saw you was there. You won that race. Jorn was there. Who else?
Yes.
Sebastian was what's the young kid from France? Was he there as well?
Yeah, Clement Boda.
How could I forget his name?
Yeah, he was also there. So I think we had some great competition and some cool finals as well.
Okay. All right, cool. So, and then you're going to be I'll see you not this weekend, but the following weekend in Florida. This your first time going to the Florida race or your second time?
No, first time. I wanted to come last year, but I couldn't. I had school.
Yeah, well, you're out of school now. You're working for Max and all that. We're going to talk about all of that. But if you guys don't know who this guy is, he's Micha Widmaier. He's very young. He's only 21. I know he doesn't sound. It must be something in the water there in Germany. I mean, Barkan and Borak don't look 18 and 16. And if I don't sound 16, you don't sound or look 21. I don't know, man. What are you guys doing there in Germany?
I don't know.
All right. So we're going to start this off, Micha. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get involved in this crazy thing that's RC? And where did it all start for you?
So with RC, I started when I was like 3.5, 4 years old. My dad just started racing with me. He was looking for sports we could do together, and he got really interested in like the model car racing stuff, and then we just started to have fun, and then it got like more and more each year, more races, better results, and now it ended up here.
So your dad did a race prior to this, or did he?
Yeah, he did just a bit of fun racing when we started, but I think after a few years he stopped because then it was like too busy to do his cars, my cars, everything on the same race. Then we raced together and stuff. So he stopped.
What I meant was he didn't do RC before you guys got into it.
No.
Okay, all right. So you and him both discovered it. Do you remember what your first car was?
I don't really know, but I think I started with like some Tamiya stuff, some RTRs. I also did some 5th scale in the beginning.
Really?
Yeah.
Was you good at it?
Nah, I was like 5 years old. I mean, the car was bigger than me.
Off-road or on-road?
Off-road.
Okay. All right. Yeah, when was your first race grade car? What was it? What class was you running?
Mainly at the beginning, it was 1.8 racing. I think my first real race car I had was an X-Ray, and then a low C8.
Okay, so a little bit about, I guess, kind of 8 scale was kind of big in Germany at that point. What we're talking about, you're 21 now, so maybe 15, 17 years ago, 16 years ago. Sorry, Daniel Reckworth, was he still like running and all that stuff? And you was getting into RC, was he still like really fast and all that there? Because that's the one German guy that I know that's really good, besides Jorn.
Jorn.
Yeah, I'm talking about Daniel Reckworth. Was that way before you, right?
I think when I was really young, I think it was like the time when he won like his European champion titles and German champion. That was when I was really young, or even before I was born. So when I started racing also German national races, he was also racing and was always in the top 5, top 3.
So you kind of caught it after his glory years, but still fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can see why it was 10 scale, 8 scale was really big probably at that time in Germany, especially with what he was doing. He was like one of the hottest 8 scale drivers at the time.
Of course.
So that's understandable. What was your first? You didn't even remember your first buggy? Oh, you had an X-ray. That's right. You had an X-ray. Then you had a Losi 8. When did I was even researching you was running Schumacher 10 scale cars and all that type of stuff. And then I think in 2016 you joined SWORKz. It was you and was it Walenka or was it Jorn too?
No. In 2016 only I joined SWORKz, and I think I had a great year. I was second at the German Nationals and stuff like that. And then in 2017, Wolanka and Jörn joined our team.
Okay. So what happened to you? So when you got picked up by SWORKz, because I mean, let's be honest, I didn't really know who you was back then, and I'm sure a lot of people didn't know. No offense to you. What led to that? How did you get there? You was doing well in just at nationals in Germany. Who was some of your biggest competition when you was younger and racing at these races?
I mean, when in the first years when I got into German nationals, it was like a younger generation who was fighting together. It was also like Burak, me, Berkan. So, and then I think when I was at the level to fight for the national titles, my main competition was like Jörn, Burak, Berkan, Carsten Keller, Aaron Münster, and some more German guys. So I think we had a pretty strong nationals.
Right, competitive nationals.
Yes.
Would you say it's still that competitive now?
I think now it's still competitive, but if you go now to the race and think about who will win, I think there are less drivers who you would say, because now the Kittich brothers are very fast. So I think it's them and Jörn, and then there's probably a gap.
Okay.
Aaron Rönig is also doing very good.
Yes, I met him at the Worlds.
Yeah, he's also pretty fast now. So I would say they're like, before there were like 6-7 drivers, and now they're like 4 to 5, I would say.
All right. So joining SWORKz in 2016, how did that come about?
I think we were just looking for a new sponsor. And before, I was also sponsored from a German hobby shop. And he was already in contact with Max because they did business a long time ago. And so I don't know, over that shop, there was like a connection to Max. And then my dad and Max just talked, and I tested the cars and then I joined the team.
Yeah, you was really young too. So that's 2016. That's 8 years ago. Yes. So very young. What was you in school full time and all of that as well? Was you like going to regular school? Was you into any other type of sports when you was younger?
I was also playing football when I was younger, but then I stopped because racing got so much. And I was also like playing in the goal. But then when you are not there, not at the weekend when you are racing, you can't come to the games. But if you have an important position in your team, it's also difficult to leave them alone. So I decided to stop with football and just do like RC racing to focus on that.
So when you joined SWORKz, was it your goal? Did you think it would turn out like this, or was it your goal to kind of just be a full-time pro racer? I think it was kind of on. I'm not saying that you ain't there yet, but I think it was kind of on that way. But now you're kind of transitioning to now you work for SWORKz, kind of. You've left Germany. You now live in Vienna, or just outside of Vienna. Where do you live in Austria now? Linz. So you moved there. My mic is dropping. Hold on. I got a new toy, so I'm kind of playing with it. You moved to Austria to work and all that type of stuff. So you do it. You're full into RC right now. Maybe not as a professional driver per se. Still a driver. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you're like at a different level or different. You're filled in a different niche in RC, which I kind of want to talk about later, because a lot of people think you can only be a pro driver in RC. There are other things you can do. But when you joined SWORKz, what was Max telling you? Because I think SWORKz by that time had been through so many different type of owners. I mean, it was that time and A-Main had it, and they had Atsushi Hara and all that. And then there was various other people in America that had it. I wasn't quite sure who was doing it in Europe, but since Max has kind of got involved, it's like blowing up. It's you know, you see SWORKz everywhere in Europe. You was like the first guy he signed. You're still there. You got a job with him. How's that progression been? How did can you tell the story, like how Max even got involved in this and decided to do this?
I think the whole story, how he got into it and when he exactly took the most part over, I don't really know.
Okay.
But I know when I joined the team 2016, he was already doing a lot. And then I think in 2017, 2018, that were like some key years.
Mm-hmm.
Or I even think that in Wolanka and Neumann, they joined in 2018, not 17, 18, because 16, 17, I was alone at the team.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think after 17, they come in 18. So when they came in 18, I think there was like the decision from Max that, okay, now we want to push the team. We want to try to make it bigger, to grow the brand. So I think 2017, 2018, that was like the
big push. And then in 2019,
he decided, okay, now we push.
Yeah, and actually, you guys got Wolanka when he was still good. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that he isn't good now, but it definitely took some time off. He was doing well. I think this is what I think. I don't know how true it could be, but he kind of left X-Ray where he was kind of at the bottom of the ladder on the team there. I think at some point with Wolanka, he comes to SWORKz. At that time, at SWORKz is still like a top contender that's making, this is a guy we can talk about making Euro finals and stuff like this.
Yeah.
He comes to SWORKz. I think he gets almost that number one position, him and Jorn out there doing pretty well. And then you're like the younger guys. So you got to be like 17, 18 when this is all happening. So you got
16, 17.
So when those guys came over, did you learn a lot from them? Because you did say you like to work with Jorn a lot.
Yeah, I think I learned a lot from Jorn because I like him as a person a lot. Also, when I was like young, he was like my RC hero.
Yeah.
I mean, I the first time I saw him was, I think I was like 9 years old.
Okay.
At that point, he won, I think, one of his first 1/8 national titles. And then I also got, for my birthday present, I got a signed tire from him and stuff like that. So he was really my RC hero. And then when he joined our team and I could work with him and go racing with him, I spent a lot of time with him and I learned a lot of him because.
Well, you beat him this weekend.
Yes.
So you've bested the master. What is it like working with Jorn?
It's cool. I think we have like on many points we have the same opinion. We think like in a similar way.
Mm-hmm.
And working with him is always a pleasure.
Does he give a lot of feedback to the cars? Because he's a veteran. He doesn't seem that old. I don't know how old he is.
I think he's 30 now.
Yeah, but he's been around. He's been doing this for so long.
Yes,
you know.
I mean, he has a lot of experience.
Right. Does that come over? Does he have a lot of feedback with what you guys do there at SWORKz with the 8-scale programs?
Yeah, I think when Jonas is driving the cars, he sees a lot, he feels a lot in the cars, and then because of all his experience, you also see some points like, okay, we could try that or improve that. So I think his knowledge is pretty good.
Okay. Then 2019, you guys make a big sign Boots.
Yeah.
Go out, win Silver State that year. 2019.
Yeah, I think in 19 we also signed Canas.
But I think was it Canas then Boots? Because Boots came like after a few months in 2019. Because he was at
no,
DNC,
I think they both run from the beginning of 19.
No, you sure?
Yeah, because in March we had the how was it called? The race at in England, which was in the past was the Neo race, and then
the DXR race.
Yeah, DXR. So we were at DXR race. We had like Boots and Canas driving our cars, and that.
I think Boots changed that year. I think he changed in 2019.
Yeah, they came at the beginning of 19. Both.
But no, so let's rewind a little bit. I remember Boots being at DNC with a Kyosho in 2019. Then I think he made the switch to SWORKz like just about a month or two after that, or a month after that, if I remember correctly.
Could be.
Yeah, because Canas, now that I think Canas came first, and then Boots,
yes,
he had the issue. I think he was running like parts from the older car on the new car at DNC, and that kind of ended his career. But I mean, a great move. He comes out swinging. Silver State was that year.
Yeah.
He came out, he won that. You know, I'll never forget telling him go up there, and you know he went up there and done well. Canas has been absolutely amazing. Like, you know what I mean? He has stepped up to another level. Like we talked about it. We was talking about who we think are top 5 drivers. We said Ongaro, Ronafalk, Mayfield, Fenn, and then Canas fits in there. He's one of them top 5 guys. I think Canas has been the best at he's been the most successful driver since you guys have come on. He's done well. He's becoming world known now, especially after the Worlds and stuff like that. What's it like to work with? You get a chance to talk to somebody like Canas or Boots, who's a little bit older. What is it like working with those guys?
It's great too. I mean, I had races. I were together with Canas. I mean, the RCGP at Manila, the first ever event, I was racing with Canas together. So we spent there like the week, and also like for the EOS race, round 1 in April this year, he traveled to me. He stayed with me at my home for a day, and we traveled together to that race. So I had great times with both of them. And yeah, I mean, working with them is always cool. They have a lot of ideas. They are pretty fast. They can give good feedback. So
what do you think separates Canas? Because I heard he just practices a lot. He just goes out there. He puts in a lot. Like even for the Worlds, he was out there practicing a lot. Do you notice anything special about him that you may not see in other drivers, or maybe why his now at this level that is at? He's gotten at this level pretty fast.
Yeah, I mean, on the one side, he has a lot of talent, of course, but then he's also working a lot for it. I mean, he's doing a lot of testing, practicing, and he always wants to learn too. So when you have an idea, he always tries it because he wants to know if it's faster or not. So he's not like, if you tell him any idea and he's not like, I don't try, I don't care. He's trying everything because he always wants to learn. He wants to get faster, and so he's doing a lot of it for it. And yeah, I mean, he's driving very good.
That's good. That's good. You can see it's definitely paying dividends because, man, this year, I mean, I watched him like 2019 when I saw him at Thunder Alley. I was like, this guy is amazing. Like, he's just so fast. Then, obviously, I'm watching him over the last couple of years, but I think where he was so fast too was at the RCGP Italy race, and him and Ongaro like battled it out to the end, man. He was so fast. Like he's on another level. He's on a different level than a lot of guys. And I don't even think he's reached his full potential yet, to be honest. He's still young and he's still got some time to go.
Yeah, of course.
So let's switch gears. Let's talk about America. Like we talked about it earlier, A-Main had SWORKz. That was probably way before your time. Atsushihara. The brand had struggled for some time to get some footing in America. It did on the A-Main, dropped off. Tim Lime has been back in. You got Brent Dansford. You got RC1, I think is done in Florida as well. Tim's been pushing hard. I'm starting to see more and more SWORKz guys and more cars. People running SWORKz. So things are starting to pick up for you guys in America. Joe is he was looking good at the beginning of the year. Kind of, you know, I don't expect, especially people think when you go to a new chassis, it's supposed to be fast right away and stuff. It takes time too.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, Spencer, he has very good talent. He can be fast. We saw that at RCGP. He was flying.
Yes.
You know, and then you got Tanner Denny, who's also maybe not racing as much, but very fast as well.
Yes.
And of course you have Camden. So SWORKz seems to be growing in America. I know you guys are probably going to pick up a lot of regional guys this year. You know, I saw a lot of guys trying you guys cars. That's good to see. Like, so how's it been? This is the most I think you've seen happening in America in your time at SWORKz.
Yes, of course. I mean, now we're at the point we have a great team. All the people are very nice. It's cool to work with them together. They are fast on the tracks. They can help us to develop the cars more for the American market, for the American type of tracks. And yeah, they are all very fast, doing great results. And I think we are on a good way to push our brand. Then we have with Brand and Franco, we have two great distributors. So yeah, I think we're on a good way. And of course, also Tim is doing a great job as a team manager.
I don't know how he does all of that. Like, he is a team manager. He has a track. He has a real business that's busy. He has kids. You know, I don't know where he has all that time. Brent's another one. I don't know where he has all this time for doing things.
Yeah,
but it's the job. This is the way, right? That's how you got to do it. So. And your role has kind of transformed now. You did run at the Worlds. It doesn't seem like you're running much 8 scale anymore. Is that true?
Yeah, at the moment I'm like more focusing on 110 scale because we want to make our 110 car stronger, to build a 110 team and also get the 110 stuff fit for the American market. And yeah, honestly, I also really like driving 110. And so I said, okay, I will focus on that. And
well, you've seen some success. You made some EOS finals. You've had I think you had a good 21, end of 21. You've had a decent year this year. And you're racing a lot of carpet. Let's put it this way. You don't race much dirt. You come to America, you race that hobby action. You came to Masters, your first time on that type of surface, running slicks and all that there. How was that for you?
Yeah, I think the Desert Classic at Hobby Action was a race to learn for me, to get in touch with that kind of dirt tracks, to get in touch with the tires, the treatment of the tires. So at that race, I learned a lot. So it was like I wasn't there for like getting the best result. It was to try a lot of things, to learn as much as possible. And then at the race of Brand, or at the Masters of Dirt, I was still learning, but I already had like some good, a kind of a good knowledge or basic knowledge. So it was definitely better for me, and this time I could also start working more on the cars and also on my driving. So,
and the dirt's a little bit different at beach too.
Yes.
How was that compared to what you drive on Astro and carpet wise, like that type of clay with slicks? Because that's like it's high traction.
It's difficult to describe or to compare because I mean, on the American dirt, you also have like high traction because when you go out of a corner, you can do wheelies, and you also have sometimes like traction rolls. But then when you enter a corner, it can also happen that your rear end is sliding away and you do like a 180. So it's like, it's high grip, but it's a strange kind of high grip compared to AstroTurf or carpet, because on AstroTurf and carpet, you can always enter the corners with full speed, just brake, and out of the corner, you just do full throttle again, and your car is like staying the same. It's like the rear is not moving.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying. It has the forward bike traction, but when you if you get too aggressive on the turns, you'll spin out and stuff like that. I mean, two-wheel drive, you didn't do too well. I think you was in his C, man. You won that though. You bumped up.
I was second. Behind Joey, so we both bumped up to the B-main.
That was a very hard race to run because there's a lot of noise.
Yeah, but it was pretty funny. I mean, I think it was the funniest and the funniest race I ever had with the best atmosphere. So
yeah, that was great. Cool. I enjoyed it. Yeah, because I heard the races in Europe are very quiet. You don't talk much at 10 scale races or shout or about the Euros anyway.
It's more quiet. I mean, if you are at the US and you have Scotty Ernst there who's commentating the whole day, it's also loud and cool. But normally it's more quiet. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you've been talking about developing these cars for the USA, 8 scale and 10 scale cars. Can you talk a little bit about the differences that you need for these cars between Europe and America? Let's start with the 8 scale car. Like, what are you guys looking from the European version of your car to make it into America? Because I'm heard Tim Lime said the same thing. So maybe you can shed a little light onto that.
Yeah. So for the 1.8 car, it was like the biggest difference of the tracks are that in Europe you have like more high speed flat tracks. You see, like in Redovan, that was a very good example. And then in the US, you have
it wasn't flat. It was high speed. It wasn't flat, but it was very high corner speed.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I think you meant. Yeah, corner speed.
Yeah, gotcha. But also like the ground is like more flat because if you compare to America, you have like a lot of bumps and holes, and in Europe it's like more smooth. And so that's probably the biggest difference, because in Europe you go more for maximize the steering and stuff like that, but in the US you need a car which is very easy to handle, who takes the bumps very good and stuff like that. So for that we did our new rear end, which was released shortly before the Worlds, and the American guys, they tested it a long time. Then we tested it in Europe too, and it looks like that it's working pretty good in the US and also in Europe, because I think everybody used it at the Worlds as well. So that's something we did with the rear end. You have like more rear traction. In combination, you also have a bit more steering, which is, I think, not bad in general. And also it handles the bumps better. So that that was a very good step for the US market. So that's the stuff on the 1.8 car.
What was the type of stuff you was working on at Masters, or can you say? Because it was you, Joe, and Spencer were thrashing away all weekend.
Yeah, we were like we were comparing our cars with the others. We checked what they have, what we have. Then we were also like discussing things from the 1.8 car, because we changed some parts on the rear end to get like more traction. And we were thinking about maybe we can do the same on the 110 scales to get the same results. So yeah, we are just collecting ideas. Now we will do some parts to test, and then we will see if we're on the right way.
How long does it? I remember we was talking about this. How long, when you have an idea, like a part, like you came from Masters Dirt, you got some ideas for new parts.
Yeah.
How long does it take from you getting those ideas to the people that need to make the parts, to you having those parts in your hand, roughly?
It depends. It depends on what type of part, because if it's a plastic part, it's probably more difficult because you need a mold for it, and it's also very expensive. So for plastic parts, we try to do some 3D printing stuff. Aluminum parts it's easier because you need no mold, and then it always depends on what kind of part you need and how busy the production companies are, because I think the drawing of a new part is that stuff is always pretty fast, but then at the end it's always like how busy the production companies are, how fast they can produce it. So
okay, all right. So the 10 Scale Worlds are at Hobby Action next year. Are we gonna see? Are we gonna? I know this is. I know you probably can't answer this. Are we gonna see SWORKz pick up like a 10 scale only type of gun into or weapon, like a driver like that or maybe a driver that does both 8 scale and 10 scale that can win both 8 scale and 10 scale worlds? Is any plans like that for SWORKz going into next year?
I think we will not get a completely new driver for doing all that. I think we'll stay basically with the team we have now for next year. Maybe some small changes. But yeah, I think for the 110 Worlds next year, we will come with a competitive and strong team. I don't know if like Canas and Boots, if they will also come to the race.
I was going to ask, will you think they would do any 10 scale on that level?
I think maybe at the Worlds, maybe yes. But I don't know. But I don't know how they can prepare for it, because we also have a lot of 1/8 scale races. So I'm not sure. I think the US guys like Joey, Spencer, they will come, of course. I will come, and yeah, maybe I will bring.
Yeah, maybe guys like
European guns with me.
Yeah, what's his name? The young kid, Clement. He's good.
Yeah, I think he will come, of course.
Yeah,
and then. Maybe Canas or Boots if they want.
I like to see Canas come. Boots is going to be kind of hard. He's kind of full up with 8 scale and a new baby and all that stuff. So, but I think Canas. I like to see Canas wheel some 10 scale cars. So we went to this Masters of Dirt. You looked at all these guys racing their fan, all these young stock guys. What do you think about the stock class? I know maybe not the first time you've seen this, but I like it.
Yeah, I think it's a great it's also a great class. We also see it at like the EOS. It's also a cool class, because it's not like they are like, I don't know, completely off pace compared to modified. They're also they also have a really fast pace. So, and there's also exciting racing. And I personally think it's a good class if you want to go to modify. It's a good way to start with stock racing, and then when you can handle the stock cars great, when you are fast with them, then you are. I think then you are ready for the next step, which is modified. I basically did the same. When I was younger, I was racing in like newcomer classes, stock classes, and then when the point was there, I was fast enough, or I was confident enough with those cars, I switched to modify. So I think stock classes are very good.
Yeah, it's like the 250 class of motocross, supercross. You got to see Fend, all these guys on the term type of turf, because a lot of these American races are used to that type of that clay dirt, breaking in tires and all that stuff. Who do you think is some of the favorites going into this Worlds next year from your visit on this trip?
I think Fendt, of course. I mean, in 110 scale, he looked amazing at almost every race they had. I think Mayfield will be also strong, because I think he's living very close to Hobby Action. So it's kind of his home worlds. And then, of course, Spencer Rifkin, always fast. I mean, at the end, everybody can win it, because they are all fast. But
how about the Euro guys? You think they're going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage over there at that surface?
If they have a good preparation and maybe do some some races before in the US on that type of tracks. I think, of course, you always have like a small disadvantage when you are not daily racing on it, but with a good preparation, I think it's okay.
Do you think guys like Ronafalk, Ongaro, Canas can just drop 8 scale for a few weeks, pick up 10 scale and do well at these races like that? Like, I mean, let's be honest, they don't race a lot of 10 scale, but they always seem to be able to do well at these Worlds events.
I think, like I said, I think with a good preparation, they can do it. I think it's the same with Bruno. Bruno's racing so many classes, and always before he's doing like, if he knows there's like touring car, Euros or Worlds, then a week or 2 weeks before he's only driving touring car. Then he knows there's like 1/8 Worlds or Euros, then he's only doing 1/8. So with a good preparation, I think everything is possible.
It'd be interesting to see him on this type of dirt.
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right. Let's talk about you a bit more. So you're 21 years old. What you went to school? What did you go to school to learn?
Yeah, I mean, I did a normal school education, so there was not a special direction I was doing.
But you did like university and all that stuff, or?
No, so I finished school. So I did like the
high school,
the highest school finish, because we have like different type of school. I was at the highest school and did there my exams, and then when I was done with that, I just started a normal apprenticeship.
As what?
Sorry?
As what? Apprentice as what?
In kind of sales business.
Okay.
Sales stuff.
That was in Germany.
No. That was so after school I moved to Austria and started that kind of apprenticeship at the office of Max.
Oh, okay. So you went to work for Max. So now what do you do? Now do you work just strictly on the RC side of things, or do you work on the automotive side of things as well?
So my apprenticeship was at the automotive side and RC. It was like mixed. And now when I finished that, I just working into the RC business.
All right. So you're basically out there shipping out all the parts, making sure everything's stocked up. You turned into like
I'm like on the sales side. So like when we get orders, I check that. When we do orders, I help. Then like customer communication, if they have questions, I help them. Also dealing with our distributors and shops. And then also like when I'm into the development of the cars and stuff like that. So yeah. So
I get this. I go back to this. Did you imagine your journey taking this twist? Because I see you, like you're in RC. You're not necessarily a pro driver, but you're influential in developing these type of cars, and you're working. You got a real job. When I mean a real job, you got a real job in RC alongside with being a driver, going to races and all this stuff. I think it's good, because too many people focus on, I just want to be a pro driver and I want to be a pro driver. Well, that's hard and very, very hard to do, and very hard to make money at, and very stressful too, because you're only as good as your last race. So what I think you've done is found a very great niche for yourself, because what you've done, I mean, let's say if you start working at SWORKz, you can go on and do this at any other company that is involved in any other company, period, but you're definitely in RC. And you still get to go to races. You still, I guess, did you have to change your mentality from, it's not about me doing well. It's about, yes, you want to do well. It's about development and getting the car better for everybody.
I mean, it's not like changing my thinking or stuff, because I want to improve the cars, but there's also a point like I want to be good at the races. So I'm now at the point like I have a great, amazing combination of work and driving. So, but when I'm driving, I also want to be like competitive and doing good results. So I'm like developing the cars for myself and also for customers.
Got you. That's cool. But it's a hard adjustment, I would say. But you've carved out a great niche for yourself. It's a couple other guys that have done this in RC. Like JR Mitch seems to be like one of them guys. He was doing a lot of stuff for Losi, hobby shops and all that stuff. So it's good to see. You're still young. You're only 21 years old. You got a lot of things open to you. What's SWORKz looking like for the future? Are we going to have another SWORKz complete uniform? I really like that. I like the all red with the red shoes and all that type of stuff. I think you guys should have kept that going.
Of course, we will keep the red color.
No, but I mean the all red. Like I think you look great, and it was one of the professional things for Max. Man, does he even race? I need to just get Max on her and talk to him. Does he even race?
I think that would be great too. Yeah.
Yeah, I met him. I finally met him at the Worlds and talked to him briefly. But I definitely want to get his story. But yeah, he's done a wonderful job of SWORKz. I mean, I know you've been kind of been right along there with him, and now you're reaping the benefits of that by working, traveling. I mean, you're gonna be in Florida next week. I'll see you next weekend. You excited about Florida Carpet Champs?
Of course.
No, this is you. Like this is what you do well on. So it's some pressure on you this weekend, next weekend.
Yeah, I mean. That's maybe a race in the US where the Europeans are. I think it's easier for us to be competitive because they're more used to it. So that's like the chance to show what we really can. So
and the SWORKz cars are really good on carpet too, because that's what it's been developed for.
Especially like our two-wheel drive, we really build it for carpet racing, for high grip racing. So that car is performing very good in this condition. So I'm excited.
Okay. I'm excited too. I can't wait. I'll get to see Mikhail Orlowski drive 10 scale. I've never seen that before, so that's interesting. Can't wait for that. What are your goals? I mean, you're 21. You're kind of living a RC dream, kind of, No, I mean, not maybe the dream that everybody thinks of. Everybody thinks it's some glamorous jet set in life, but you're kind of in a happy space, I would say, when I'm talking to you. When I was talking to you in Myrtle Beach, you're enjoying what you're doing. What are your future plans? Like, I mean, you're still young, but you got to start thinking about stuff like that.
I mean, I would love to continue like that, like it is now for the next years. I think. As long as I have fun driving and I enjoy the hobby, it's like the best I can do. And then I think I will see what the future brings. I mean, I can't really plan what's in 5 years. But so for the next 1, 2, 3 years, I think I would love to continue how it is now. And then I will see how everything is going.
All right. Also, what I remember you saying you like, this is off RC, but you like German hip hop. I was trying to find some German hip hop, couldn't find none. So you got to give me some artist names to look up. And I don't know why that came to my brain because we was talking about. I think about your AirPods that you lost for like 4 days. You thought you lost them at the gas. So anyway, guys, here's a funny story. He's just like, did I leave my AirPods in your bag or something? I was like, no. I don't know how that would be possible because he was sharing a ride home. This guy thought he lost his AirPods. He was sleeping on them for like 3 days.
Yeah, it was crazy because I also was like looking in the bed if I lost them there, but I couldn't find them. And then at one evening they were under the towel, or I don't know how to call it. But
the other day I felt
under the sheet of the bed. So, and I was okay.
And the other day I felt bad for you was Friday night because you had to be there late with Brent on the party night.
Yes, but I think Sunday night was even longer. Was because after the race on Sunday, I think we went home at 4:00.
Oh my gosh!
Because we had a pretty nice night with Brand, Dakota, and I don't know the guy from Trinity, the owner.
Oh, Kevin Abbott.
Yeah, Kevin. So we were like 2 till 3:00 we were on the track doing some funny things. They were like drinking a bit, and then at 3:00 they decided to go to Waffle House.
You guys stayed at the track till 3:00 Sunday?
Yes.
What? I thought everybody was going out to dinner and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I think Kevin and Fent, they went to dinner and then they came back.
You stayed till 3:00 in the morning at the track?
Yes. So after the race on Sunday, yes.
With who? You? Who else? Because when I left, guys were racing. I thought you guys were gonna leave soon.
I was also racing, but then everybody left, and then just we stayed. And then I think Rant and Dakota were also doing some things at the office at the other side of the track. So I was alone at the track, just driving a bit more. And then they come over. We did some funny things, and then it was like 3:00 in the morning. And then they decided to go to Waffle House to give me like the full American experience.
Well, that's his full Southern American experience because, Waffle House is where you go when everything else is closed. And, it's where you go to sop up all the alcohol that you drink that night before. I've had lots of Waffle House in my journeys to America. What was your favorite food when you was in America? What did you like the most?
In March, when I was at Hobby Action, I really liked the Longhorn food. I think Jörn and me, we went there like every evening.
Did you you went to Longhorns? Oh, you didn't go. You didn't go out that night. That's where everybody went. Longhorns. They have a nice one there.
Well, I wasn't there. I was at the track.
We should probably go to Longhorns in Florida.
We should.
Or something. Maybe. I don't know. Something nice. We'll see what happens. Yeah. All right. Well, last question before I go. You're a young man in RC. You're coming up. Any thoughts on how we can improve RC or anything you'd like to see happen in our industry? How do we get more young people into this, staying into this? With so much competition out there. I say younger people because you are young. You're 20, younger. You're 21. You will have a better grasp on this. Is the social media stuff working? Are we catching people like that? What are we doing wrong here to not get these young guys into young people into RC?
I think the social media stuff is getting better every year. Always also like the media coverage of the events is getting better and better. But what I see in Europe, it's because everything is getting more expensive. So for young people, I think it's really, really difficult to get into the hobby if you haven't like parents or a father who is doing that with you together. I think it's very hard to get into it. So
I would agree.
So I think now we're in a difficult situation because since the war in the Ukraine and then the COVID and all that stuff, it's a difficult situation. Yeah, I think I not really know how to solve that problem because it's complicated, I think.
It is. How about professionalism? I know SWORKz was big on that. Like I said, they had that whole red uniform before. Do you think we need more of that? Like, especially on our pro side of things, should we? I mean, let's be honest. You went to Masters Dirt, you wouldn't know who a pro driver was or who was it. You know what I mean? Because you don't know. Do we have to make our professionals be a little bit? Because I say this because SWORKz was doing it. I see a nice button up SWORKz shirt in the back there, and I think that's the type of stuff that our pro drivers should be doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think one good step would be to get the hobby more popular. So if you have like more people watching it or can watch it, then the people get more. They get in touch with it and know it more. And of course, then if you're at that point, it would help if the teams are like more unique, if they have like their uniforms and stuff, because then it's also for people from outside, it's easier to recognize who is driving for which brand and who's like professional and stuff. So it can help.
It can help. I think it can help. Micha, what are your goals for Florida Carpet Championships?
I think the main goals are to get into the A main. That would be great. Because, the Europeans from last year, they said like the US carpet is a bit different compared to the carpet in Europe. Then we are also using, I think mainly we use J-Concept tires. In Europe, we use Schumacher tires. So there are still some things which are different to Europe. I don't know how good they are to handle for me or how well I will feel with the car. So that's something I need to see. So my goals are mainly doing the A main in both classes and then to see what happens in the A main, because I think then everything is possible.
Yeah. Let's also make it a goal to get you to a restaurant that isn't Longhorns.
Yeah. I mean, one time we also went to Outback when I was with Björn in Hobby Action, but we preferred Longhorn, so we stayed with that.
You know, we're gonna go find a nice Jamaican restaurant when we go to Florida and go get some nice spicy jerk chicken for you. There we go. If you can handle it. Micha, it was a pleasure hanging out with you at Masters of Dirt. I look forward to hanging out with you and all the other Europeans that are coming over. I really enjoy this race. This Florida Carpet Championship race is turning into that, almost like the DNC of 10 scale, because you're getting all these guys coming over from Europe, and that's all. Anytime we get to see the Europeans and other international racing to this extent, I love it. I look forward to it. It brings a whole nother level. Like it's like going to the Worlds. Everybody's on a different level because it's like country pride at that point. So I look forward to that. I'm sure I'll be talking to you when I get there, obviously. And thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation.
Yes, keep doing what you're doing, and
I'll do my best.
I think you're gonna have a bright future ahead of you in RC.
We'll see. I hope so. Thank you.
Yeah, man, cool. And you gotta hit me to some of this German hip hop when I see you in Florida. You just tell me about this stuff.
For sure.
All right, man. Well, you have a good one, and tell Max I said what's up. You need to get him on this podcast.
I will do.
Cool. All right, Max. We are back for the conclusion/RC rant, and this week the RC rant is brought to you by Lugs Racing Tires, who have over 55 years of combined RC experience. Lugs Racing Tires has been testing treads, wheels, and rubber for performance. They have the Lugs Econ tires that were developed with racing budgets in mind, high quality with lower costs that can be paid, which means savings that can be passed on to you, the racer. They also have their premium brand of the tire, which provides pure performance made using Lugs custom molds and proprietary rubber compound. They just released their slides about a month and a half ago. Tires are available in medium, soft, super soft, mega soft, and long wear. They also have truggy tires as well, and I believe they're working on some 10 scale tires. You can visit them at www.lugsracing.com. You can save 25%, I believe it is, with the promo code NNRC Lugs. The link for that is in the written description of this podcast. All right, Max. So real quick, you took it down. It's not there anymore, but when you get a chance, find that picture. We do have probably the last big race going on this weekend. It's at Alabama's Manufacturer Shootout at Coleman, Alabama. This is the second year that has been at this time of the year. Usually it's in June. I did go in 2018. Last year was great. We did a whole virtual coverage of it. We had great coverage. They had a schedule. They had a cap race. Not sure it's capped again this year. Not sure how the numbers are. I haven't looked at anything, but I see a lot of people go into this race. A lot of the top pros. I think we're going to see all the top guys there. It looks good. Track looks good. Max, did you ever get that picture of the track up, or did you lose it?
Yeah, let's get the track up. So
looks great.
Yeah.
This is not a very big arena. I will tell people that. It's a medium sized one. I would say it's about, I wouldn't even say it's half the size of P&B maybe, but
but I think it's big enough for like 8 scale race. I don't think it's like,
it's big enough. Track looks great though. I like it.
I have to be honest. I prefer it as like how it looks. I prefer it from last year. I think last year those jump sections were a bit too difficult for at least the open
Right,
class.
that was
The
like a
pro
10
class,
scale
he
type
was,
of track, right? If I remember correctly. That Fenn won
yeah.
her, right?
Yeah, Fenn dominated, like won by half a lap or something. But I think for sure this year's track looks better. But let's see how the action is. I like it. It's a bit more 180, 90-degree corners, not so much like drivable corners. But I like the jumps. The end of the straight looks interesting. I'm just trying to see. I saw some video of Bornhorst driving on it, but I couldn't find it anymore.
Oh, you've seen some video of it? Okay.
Yeah, it looked pretty good.
I haven't seen any video of it. They don't have. No, it's nothing up. Oh, this is from 2021. All right. I was looking for maybe race time. See what they have here. Let's see. I think I give Dave all the credit for making it a cap race. I think this race should probably move down to 3 days. He's every time he's had a 4-day race, it hurts him. PNB was 4 days, and I think people just want to have they just kind of want to come in on a Friday, practice and race. So maybe they have to find like a mix of a hybrid capped but open practice type of race. I don't know how they would do that, but
I think open practice with, you have 3 runs or 4 runs per class or something per person, because some people won't practice on Friday. So I think that's one, like, you choose on an online app or something. Like,
yeah, I don't know, but track looks good. Last race of the year, I would say, where we get most of these guys are going to 8 scale wise. Then we probably won't see these guys until DNC.
Well, SIC is first, but yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry. I forgot about SIC.
SIC, DNC, that's probably the first races you're going to see these guys running 8 scale after this race.
Yeah,
but yeah, should we go into rant?
Yeah, let's go into this rant real quick. Let's take this on. Let me bring up that rant. So Javier says, we're back. Everybody's happy to be back. Is that, yes, this year we had important. Okay, so this is where it starts. Yes, this year all of you had a big and important responsibility in the future of EFRA and your future of RC community with the election of a new EFRA president. You are going to choose not just a person. You're going to choose which direction you want to take. I don't know if all of you realize your responsibility in the day of working on EFRA. I guess you're not aware, because I have to say some of the frustration to leave EFRA becomes because of the lack of answers, proposals, feedback, and work for national federations and associate member side. So this is obviously from the national federations and associated member side, because all of you have the keys of EFRA to accept or refuse any project. Development plan rules and the power to use these keys have to be used during the year and not just in a couple of yes or no votes during the AGM. You have to be proactive. You have to support or don't support the EFRA board. You have to answer mails, accept drivers in the system, promote European championships in your country, get feedback of EFRA projects, and a lot more. I hope you choose the right option for EFRA's future and for your own future as well. But nothing will be valid if after the election of the new EFRA president, you go home and keep up the same as now. My advice is be proactive and work for the RC community. Wow.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Fuck. That's like the one thing I've ever wanted to hear someone like say there, because like Javier is 100% right.
Yeah. Basically, he said everything we say, but nicer.
Yeah, he said it in an official tone. Like if I was there, I probably would say it that way. But that was like as hard as you could go as a quote unquote politician in RC.
I mean, what are you supposed to say after that?
Yeah, but the thing is, he's exactly right, because the thing is, and well, obviously, the solution is not to just like tell these people, hey, work harder. And Javier probably knows it. The real solution is to modify the federation in a way where you have these working groups that actually get shit done. And like, for people who want to get shit done, they should be given the opportunity to get shit done. And those who don't want to get shit done, they just show up at the meeting and vote yes or no. And that is the point, what I was talking about earlier, and what I really want to see change in EPRA. The fact that, yes, they need a strong leader like Javier to show them the direction, but also, like Javier said, he needs to get the feedback, positive or negative, from the national federations, from people inside EPRA, working with EPRA. It's no good if it's just like a club of old men that have been running RC, having this one nice dinner at some fancy hotel once a year, and going to hot countries for 1 week of vacation, like IFMAR pretty much is. Like, if you do that, shit's not gonna change. You have to actually work to make shit happen. And I think Javier is absolutely right in what he said, but sort of what I would like to add to that is that my point is that it's never gonna work just like asking people to do more. We will have to make a change inside EPRA. Clearly, the way the federation works is not providing any results that the people want. The people that the results that Javier wants, or what we want, or what most people who drive these events at least say they want, So what we need to do is somehow find a better way of getting changes to happen. Like, yes, making groups and stuff like that is good, but you have to make it with some goal. And that's something EPRA needs to look into, what people that want stuff to change need to look into, that what is the best way to get things made. And I think that's something that we as people, and as people who want change, like me and you, that's something we need to sort of get an idea of.
So my take from this is exactly what I was telling somebody the other day. When they're like, I'm going to run for raw president. And I'm like, it takes more than one person. So here we have Javier. He done 4 years as president. I think that 10 years only 1 year. So he actually got, I think, I might be wrong with that.
I don't know how long it is, but
I saw something in the minutes about exchanging it from presidency to 4 years, like anything else. So I think that Javier just realized it's going to take more than just him. There has to be a drain in. Look, I'm going to use this as my Americans love this terms, and he's got to drain the swamp. And
exactly, yeah.
And I think he finally realized that, and I think he knows that it's going to have to either take a drastic, like, hostile takeover of this, or it's going to be by attrition. Now, by attrition, what I mean by that is like these people just eventually retire or give up. I saw that the secretary is going to do 2 more years and that's it. He exactly said, we need new blood. But you just have these guys that don't want to relinquish that. I mean, it's and I'm not saying that their value still can't be used in EFRA and all these and IFMAR, because a lot of these guys are involved in IFMAR too. But man, something's got to happen. And it's going to take the same with Raw. Like, it's going to take a collective group. You got to oust those guys. There's people in these federations that want to do things differently. You got to and they're probably stifled. Exactly everything we're saying. Like, this guy just proves everything we've saying.
Yeah, and I think I haven't heard this before, or anyone say this before, this publicly. And I think people should go and read the text and share it with people that are in their national federation that, hey, why the fuck are we in a situation like this? Like, it's different for us to be like, EFRA, you suck, you need to do things better, this is how you do it better, than the guy who's been in charge of EFRA saying, we have done shit. You know, together we haven't done things that we want.
And I think EFRA is the most progressive and best federation there's out there. So that means that IFMAR and RAW are absolute shit. That's what that means.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, that's just the truth of the matter. Javier, thank you for your service. I think you're going to be back, and I think you're going to be back in a way that you can do much better things. I should work to get him on this podcast next year. Now that he doesn't have to be so political. Yeah, he can be savage. He can actually. Yeah, he's the type of guy that can actually start getting things to change because he's been in there and had the experience and he's got a voice and all that stuff.
And my personal sort of, I always was a bit skeptical of, like, I always liked what Javier said.
But it's very political, but he had to be.
Yeah, I know. I was always a bit skeptical because of that politicalness, but I think the way he framed things here and him saying you need to make the right choice and so on, like, I think there are clear indicators of what he was talking about if you know people inside EFRA and people who was being voted in to the candidacy, like who was the pair of battling. I think this was a clear sort of show that, yeah, he's willing to fight for the best of RC and to fight the status quo that EFRA is in right now, and generally all federations in RC are in. And I think, in my eyes at least, him saying these things like just confirmed to me that he is, or at least wants to be, the guy that he speaks out that he wants to be, you know.
That's right. Well done, Javier. And good luck to Jacqueline. I forgot, Abayi. I heard she worked very closely with Javier. So hopefully she continues on his vision, and hopefully we see Javier get him back, because I think he will be good for this. And I think he can be way more effective now that he's been, like I said, he's been in there, he's got the experience, and now he can be like, yeah, look, that's just the first salvo. I'd be blasting salvos like crazy if I was him. But I'm sure they have this is not the last we've seen of Javier. And I think
I hope he'll be back, and it doesn't have to be that he has to be back in EFRA. Maybe he's a consultant for RCGP, maybe he's a consultant for American Race Series, whatever it'll be. But at least in some form of him having the experience of the federation and then sort of trying to translate that into the sort of business side of RC. I think that's something we are really missing, the connection between business and federation, which is like, EOS was called the sort of black races or whatever. Yeah, that's just
RCGP too. So
so I think luckily Javier made that side of things at least more open, but there's a lot to work on.
Sweet. Well, I think that's it. We kind of geeked out this weekend.
2.5 hours of geeking out about RC. I think that's enough for 1 week, right?
Yeah, well, it's probably more because we ain't got the main interview yet.
Oh, true.
So I want to say thank you to whoever our guest is, that either it's Micha Widmaier or Clayton Young. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Max for your time and your effort. Appreciate it. It's been a good year. We're not over yet. We got a couple of more shows to do by the end of the year. Don't forget our Apprentice competition. We're going to do some official announcement of that, but that's the unofficial announcement. We're looking for Apprentice. Send us your video. Show us why you should be a part of the NNRC. Don't tell me, show me. And yeah, congratulations. Good luck to everybody. Good luck to going to AMS this weekend. Look forward to seeing all right, let's make some AMS predictions real quick. Who you think's going to win? Is Mayfield going? Let's see.
I'll say Fend, Mayfield, Fuller.
I'm going all in on Team Fuller this year, this last race. All in with Team Fuller.
So you Mason for the win. Who's your second or third?
I don't know. Fend or Mayfield. Or, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we'll see somebody else rise from the ashes. Maybe Co-Ogden. I wouldn't be surprised if Co-Ogden won this race.
I don't know. I think Hot Race is not the best tire for this race.
Could be indoor race.
J Concepts. I think I'm pretty confident Fend Mayfield Fuller.
Yeah, I wouldn't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Good luck to everybody. safe travels. See everybody next week at Florida Carpet Championships. Max, thank you for your time. I'm going to let you go and do my spiel if you want to go, because I know your girlfriend's probably saying it's time to go.
Yeah.
So thank you.
I'll go.
You can't salute nobody because you don't have a camera.
Yeah, I'll do a virtual salute and try to make something happen so I don't have to sleep on the couch.
Yeah, no, thanks you for your time and have a good weekend, good buddy.
Yeah. All right. See you guys in the future. Right. I don't know. Maybe in 2 weeks.
All right. Yeah, maybe.
All right. Yeah.
Bye-bye. All right. So thank you guys for all the support. Thank you for tuning in. I know we kind of geeked out. Max went in super science mode on some of the questions and things. You know how Max does it. Like I said, I'm off to Florida Carpet Champs. This will be our last full podcast for probably a while. I will be doing some podcasts with JQ and Robert as we're down in South America. Probably just we will record and do them there. And yeah, I have a couple of things. Get out and vote, man. Get out and vote. If you're a Raw member, get out there and vote. And I think Clayton Young, just from my brief conversations I've had with him, even though I haven't done the interview with him yet, as I'm recording this, is probably the best candidate for that. That's fixed Raw. And we're coming up to the holiday season here. If I don't see you guys, I'll probably, for Thanksgiving and all that stuff, I'm going to be thrashing. I'm going to be traveling. So I probably won't see a post from me. So all my American friends, have a good Thanksgiving. If you celebrate it, you don't celebrate it. I understand both situations. And yeah, enjoy that. Good luck. Good safe travels to everybody. Going to AMS this weekend and going to Florida next weekend. Thank you to all the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do it without you guys. Thank you for all the support from around the world. It's truly amazing to see how we've grown over the last year or so. Thank you to all the patrons and NNR and YouTube members of the NNRC. Remember, guys, if you wish to support the podcast a little extra, you can. You can find a link for that in the written description of this podcast for both of them. Shout out to the awesome sponsors that help us out here and advertisers. They are Invisible Speed, TZO 200 Tires, TNR Fuels, Hitec RC, Beach RC, Mayako, Tekno RC, Lugs Racing Tires, Papa Wheelie Stretch-Tonic, G-Spec RC doing Sampadal USA, Clinic RC, Racecraft USA, RCGP, House of RC. Shout out to David Ronafalk, Jared Thibault Hagberg, Alexander Hagberg, and Robert Battier. Remember, if you want some NNRC Shwag or want to get some stuff done for your real business, or you want to get some RC stuff done in America, check out my good buddy Jason Bacall at Art and Imprints is doing all my swag for me. He done his hat, and I haven't got one of the shirts yet. I'll have one soon. If you're in the USA, check them out. If you're in Europe or the UK, check out RC Haus and get some NNRC swag as well. Both of these guys are open to doing business outside of RC as well as RC with you. So go check them out if you're looking for a new printer. And if you're rocking that NNRC swag, tag me in it. I like to see it where you are in the world and where you're running it. I think that's it for me, guys. Gonna get ready. Gotta get out of here. Gotta go to Florida. Looking forward to that. See all you guys there at the Florida Carpet Champs, and then see everybody in South America that probably doesn't listen to this podcast as much, but that knows me. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you, everybody, for the opportunity. It's been a great 2022. I'm going to cap it off with a good year and get ready for 2023. The NNRC is now, I think, almost 4 years old. I think in 7 days' time, it's the 11th, and I'm recording this. We released our first podcast. It was November 18th, 2018 when we did that. So coming up on 4 years of doing this, and it's been awesome. And 214 episodes later, I'm still passionate about this. I just need help. Then we need an apprentice. So with that said, Nitro's the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. If you ain't grinding inside, and Lefty, Max is going already. Maxie, have a good weekend. Don't sleep on the couch. We'll have plenty of JQ coming up for 3 weeks when we go to South America. So don't worry, everybody. He will be back. With that said, thank you, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. Lefty is out.